Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wannabes podcast. They were muted the entire time, and y'all couldn't hear what they were saying.
Damn it!
Kitty wants to hold butts.
I was told to hold my butt.
Hold your butt.
I was just saying, I didn't know we were that type of show. I missed one show.
All right, y'all. It is going to be a chaotic show in the best way possible. I'm Morgan, that's Luke, and that's Dreaded down the way. We are the host of the Wannabes podcast, and we are so thrilled and happy to be joined by our special guests tonight, FrenchKittie and ShirtlessDan, good friends, and you've seen Kitty before, and Dan, well, you've seen him in chat. Thank you for joining us. We're super excited.
I'm super excited to talk about this. This is my franchise. Let's go.
Yeah,
Why did you make me do this?
Let's go. Because it's more fun this way.
Probably, honestly, you're not wrong.
So, our shout-outs are being very rude. How dare it? But I will get your links in chat if we have a mod in there that can help out. Please do. Please and thank you.
Hi, Shy Bears.
Hello, Shy Bears. You followed us an hour ago, so thank you so much for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, so Kitty and Dan, before we dive into like everything we have to discuss, you guys have been streaming Borderlands together recently, yes?
Yes, we have.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, Kitty, you have a long background of Borderlands. Dan, how deep does your background go?
Well, I kind of got like thrown into the middle of it a couple of years ago when they released Assault on Dragon Keep as a standalone. So that was my introduction. So I had a lot of stuff kind of like thrown at me that I shouldn't have known. Then went through Tiny Tina's a couple years ago, and then now I have knowledge up through the end of the events of Borderlands 2.
Yes.
Awesome.
So any Borderlands 3 spoilers, let me know and I'll throw my headset across the room.
So there's this. No.
Couldn't spoil it
Here,
for
let
you
me
even if
tell
I
you what
wanted to,
happens
man.
in 3, okay?
I'll tell you what happens in 4.
Yeah, we all know what's really happening in 4. Everybody in chat, I went into this film with a little bit of knowledge. I did play some of 1, some of 2. You know, I'm not the most in depth of knowledge for this game. However, I do know some things, which is nice. I had a brother who was really into it.
Morgan, I've been playing 2, just 2, for about 15 years, and I still haven't beaten it.
Well,
You haven't
Good job.
finished. You
Good
haven't
job.
finished yet.
That's an achievement in and of itself.
Yeah, it is.
that there states how much Luke knows, and
Yeah.
then Dreaded actually doesn't have any knowledge basically at all, right?
Yeah,
I
fucking
haven't-
stream him now.
I have exactly 104 minutes of Borderlands 2 played on my Steam. I don't know how long that actually is. So
It means you turned it on.
I turned it on. I played with some other friends.
You left it just
once,
looping
and
on the
I
title screen.
I honestly never went back because
He
I
just
just
wanted
wasn't
to
super into it.
stare at one of the characters.
Yes.
I don't blame him.
So I don't know
I
much
get
about the story. I don't know much about characters except for Claptrap. Yeah. So I got no knowledge of anything really. I know it has a banger ass song.
So, everybody, with that being said, as we get into our review, please let us know. There is a lot of us on the stream, which it sounds good to me, but let me know because my mic audio is separate than theirs. If anybody is harder to hear than the other, please let me know and I can adjust that as the show goes on. But yeah, just let me know about that. But for now, we had a really cool announcement that happened, just a couple days ago, I believe it was?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday, that's right. It already feels like 2 days ago. But
Wait, yesterday.
yesterday we had a really fun announcement that Borderlands 4 is happening and coming soon.
I'm so excited.
We'll start with our Borderlands peoples. How does that make you feel?
This has been a long time coming. But the fact that we are getting this teaser trailer now is so great to see, especially the way that the art style looks. I know we're not going to show the trailer, but if you actually have seen the trailer, and I believe many of you have, especially I know Latin has, the art style is not the traditional art style that we have seen from all the games, which is fascinating. But here's a fun fact. The art style that you see in this teaser trailer is actually the art style that they had for 1 before they switched it. So it's very fascinating how we're seeing very similar art style from an original that they'd done before. But there is a lot of little Easter eggs that are in there that you guys may have seen or may have not seen. One being the image that we see at the end of the trailer. And Morgan, I don't know if you can pull that up for me.
I have it right here.
Sweet. So I did some searching, and what you might see is, and Dan and I had a deep discussion about this. It was kind of fun. I was like, well, that could be Handsome Jack, but Gearbox is saying that it's not Handsome Jack. And so I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a villain, or maybe it's something else. But there is also a piece at the very end of the teaser trailer where it looks very encrypted and you're not really sure what it means. This one article I found actually was able to decipher it, and it says he is watching Break Free. So I don't really know if that is a hint to something that Handsome Jack has done, or if it's a hint to something completely different. I'm really not sure, but all I know is that we're going to be on a new planet. We're going to have new characters coming in, and if they've upped their ante on the graphics, because it seems like they have, this could be a lot smoother. We could be actually having really great overall experience with this one. I'm really excited. I'm hoping that it's not like 3, though. Sorry, Dan, close your ears. But 3 was kind of a bust for a bunch of people that are Borderlands fans, unfortunately. And it wasn't so much due to the gameplay, it was more due to the storyline.
You're safe, Dan.
You're safe now.
Earmuffs off.
So
I just waited until I stopped seeing the talking bubbles.
so Dan, how are you? Like, how do you feel about that little teaser trailer you got?
Well, I'm kind of wondering how many Easter eggs, because I know that there were some little bits and pieces of different things, and it kind of makes me wonder how much of it is going to connect back to the story, and how much of it is going to be just them putting together a trailer. Because in the past, you've seen different art styles used in the trailer versus what's in the game. So it could be a full render of what they're expecting the game to look like, but I'm also kind of expecting them to maybe pull back on that if the fans start saying, hey, that's not the style we're used to.
Gotcha.
But
I will say though, if Dan wants to plug his ears again, sorry. At the very beginning of the teaser trailer, you actually see Firehawk symbol, and at the end of 3, spoiler for anybody who has actually not played 3 right now, but at the end of 3, Lilith actually takes off, and one of the things that you see at the very end is actually her Firehawk symbol. And the reason is because she's going to go and save all the other vaults, and that's her job, is to be a protector. But at the same time, we're not sure if she's alive, dead, or anything. So the fact that you see this Firehawk symbol could be a indication that she's fine and everything's okay, because we've had a lot of deaths in this whole entire lore that has been seen throughout all the different series. So just something also to keep an eye on, that we could be maybe seeing a return of Lilith, which would be really cool. As long as we get her catchphrase, like her sup. Poor Dan. I have to mute him every single time.
So
that's fine.
It's my damn knowledge.
It's good content.
So chat, when we were just kind of prepping, setting up cameras, talking about that we were going to be just bringing up the Borderlands 4 teaser, Luke, you ended up saying that, man, that was poor timing. They should have released that before the film, to which
I stand by it.
I know there's a few of us who disagree with you, but I want to know why. What was your thought process behind that?
Well, we'll get into the critical and commercial success of this film here shortly, but I think if you do that, considering even before the movie came out, which I have no problems talking about right now, it wasn't really getting a whole lot of love. I think if you release the trailer before the film, you generate more interest in the brand, maybe get people more curious about the movie in a good way. And I personally, I just believe that couldn't do anything but help. Like I stated, like I just said, it's already getting bad press. There isn't a whole lot of hype behind it as it is. You put this out probably literally right before people check it out, get excited. Hey, let's go see the movie. I'm in the mood.
Yeah, that's a point.
You know, and thank you guys, that was amazing. As
Yeah.
far as the trailer in general, look, I do enjoy playing 2. I never played
Do you?
1, I've never played 3. I really do like playing 2. The problem is
15
like
years
I
of
am
it.
a massive BioShock fan.
Oh, that's
And
fair.
BioShock, Fallout, Borderlands, they kind of feel the same when it comes to gameplay. I know their stories are completely different, but their gameplay is pretty fucking similar. So for me personally, I just go to BioShock. So BioShock,
Bordershock.
BioShock 2, BioShock, yeah, I almost said it.
It's the new
BioShock
game.
Infinite, like those are the games that I'm gonna play, but I do really like playing Borderlands. I love the writing. It's just when it comes to the gameplay and feeling samey, I'm gonna pick BioShock. And that's what I did the whole time 2's been out.
But I will tell you though, BioShock has an incredible storyline.
Yes,
I
it
mean,
does.
their
Well-
lore is incredible. So for the fact
I'm
that
waiting
you
for
love
that
it,
to come out so I can be you.
but the fact that you love it is so good though. Like I'm happy for you in that
Yeah.
sense. Like I'm not even mad that you're like, no, I go do this. I'm like, that's a good game. Like,
Yeah, no,
you know?
I do want to play the Borderland games. Too many B's. I do want to play the Borderlands games. I have 2 on my computer. It's something that like when I was streaming, I did get on it and I was streaming it some days. So like I do want to play the game. I do want to finish it. It's just one of those things where something just always come up and I do something different.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
But yeah, 4, it looks cool. I'm excited. I want to get more in tune with the lore like you guys are so I can appreciate it more. But I do love the gameplay. It's just got a different skin when I play it.
Mm-hmm. So I actually agree with what Latin just said in chat. So Latin said the movie was already written off by many just due to the casting, and that was before the first trailer even dropped. And he doesn't think the Borderlands 4 trailer dropping before the movie would have helped any. And I agree. I actually think this helps save the franchise by you just released a bomb fucking movie. Like it's awful. It is tanked. And what can you do to save your brand? Let's launch this long-awaited, really great, teaser trailer for the next installment of the video game franchise. I think that is the best decision. Not necessarily the best decision for the movie, but it was the best decision for the brand overall.
See,
Right,
and that is my beef is that the movie is the brand.
But it's
The
not.
movie is the movie
But it's
is
not.
But
it
it's
says
not.
Borderlands on it. It
But
says
it's not.
Borderlands.
It's not the brand. The brand is the game. They made the movie based on the game. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
Well, I don't mean like when you think of Borderlands, you're gonna think of the movie, but I mean like it is a part of the brand. A part of the brand is what I should have said, not the brand. It's a part of the brand.
Okay.
And
Well, you
that
said
maybe-
it was the brand, so that's
I did.
different.
I did. No, I apologize. I did. And I don't necessarily think that if you put the trailer out before, like it like it saves the movie. But I think maybe you get a couple more eyeballs, which we'll get we'll get into. I'm saving it. Probably is a good thing. I'm not saying that it's going to make the movie better because you guys have your opinions on it, but I just think it would have generated a little bit more buzz because you got another good thing to kind of just get you to think about how good the shit is, you know?
I think the opposite is happening. You now have all the hardcore gamers who just watched this movie who are really upset right now, and they're like, what the fuck, guys? And so with Randy Pitchford coming out and saying, all right, boom, you guys wanted this damn game for so long. Here we go. We've had it up our sleeve. We just didn't want to release it right yet. All of us gamers are going, fuck yeah, finally. It was the same exact reaction that Diablo fans had, and I'm a huge Diablo fan as well. And when they released Diablo Immortal, all of us were like, flip the table, what the fuck you doing? And then when they came out with D4, we were all like, finally, you fucking idiots finally got it. So it's like, it's a whole different mindset to this whole
It's also a
thing. And
marketing
so-
ploy.
Exactly. It's a good marketing ploy. This is like the best branding thing that
No,
you could
no. That's not a good marketing ploy. It's coming off the heels of something that you guys think sucks
But-
anyway. So like it can
but-
only get better
but
from here for you
those
guys.
no,
That's not a marketing ploy. That's a slam dunk. Like, oh, they hate
Yeah.
this. Let's give them this. Here, you fucking
Right.
savages. Shut up.
Now, if they dropped Borderlands 4 and a new Tiny Tina's, oh, shit would have been through the roof. We would have been like, you know, that would have been a huge slam dunk because everybody liked Tiny Tina's Wonderlands because they were like, this is cool. This is something new we haven't seen. So, you know, there's just aspects of how they're playing this that's making it right. And I don't think them dropping it now was a bad move. I think it was smart. We've already got enough flack. I mean, it got to the point where Randy Pitchford was actually blocking people because they were like, "Your movie sucks. I hate this thing. This is terrible." Like, okay, so dude, you can't hide from all of the fucking trash coming your way because you made a trash movie. Like, come on.
I mean, fair, but I can't. Again, it's a slam dunk. I can't give him too much credit for a fucking slam dunk thing. Where like, you really hate this, here you go, you know. And it's not even like there's no gameplay. There's nothing in it. You don't know if it's good. It's just the fact that Borderlands 4 got fucking announced. You guys are excited. Like he seriously could have done that before the movie. You would have had the same reaction. I'm not necessarily saying that would have helped you for the movie, but like,
I think
you would have had the same
the
reaction.
movie, I feel like, would have then ended up tainting the reaction.
Well,
and like the overall feel.
because you wouldn't have seen it yet, right? So I guarantee if you have this harsh feeling about the movie, you watch the trailer first, you go see the movie, you come out and you go, well, at least the fucking game's coming out. I have my doubts that any would have been like, this movie sucked, therefore game is gonna suck. Because if that's how you're thinking, you should feel that right now anyway. It doesn't matter when the trailer comes out. You'll be like, well, the movie sucked. I don't have much faith. Instead, you animals, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait.
Look, okay, let me tell you this. If they made a terrible BioShock movie, and then all of a sudden they're like, 3 weeks down the road, they're like, okay.
No, you can't. This has already happened to me.
Would you not be excited?
This has already happened to me, so this is a loaded question. This is a loaded fucking question, all right? This already happened. I already know how this goes. I've experienced this already. I did this like almost 10 years ago now. We're going on 20 years I did this before.
But I'm just saying.
I know how this feels.
Would you not be excited?
Oh, I was ecstatic. I was fucking pumped. I was hype as fuck. You don't even know. I was so excited when that happened to me. I just don't want to bring it up because we talk about it all the time.
Dragon Ball?
Yeah. Yeah, I've already been through this. Like, no, it's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling. But I know for a fact I would have had the feeling of, this movie sucks, but at least that other thing's coming out. Like, we're still good. We're still okay.
What was coming out when Evolution was coming out?
Nothing, but I'm just saying, just for argument's sake, let's say Battle of Gods was going to come. We knew Battle of Gods was in the works. And then we get Evolution, but they drop a Battle of Gods trailer like right before. I'm like, all right, I still got Battle of Gods. Instead, I was like, this movie sucks. And then I got Battle of Gods, and I was really hyped. But I would have been hyped regardless.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you that Randy Pitchford was coming out, and the one thing besides blocking people was he was like, guys, like, just give it a chance. Like, he was really trying to fix this whole issue. And it just wasn't working. And I think that's when he finally decided, okay, I need to do something. And I think that's why. Well, I'm sorry.
He had like this whole plan. He was gonna do it, and he was like, "Oh my God, they won't shut up." Here, fuck, God, all right, Jesus.
Fine, you want your freaking cake here.
Yeah, exactly. He like shoved it through the little feeding hole too. He was like, "Fuck it, to God, take it, God damn." All right.
Well,
oh, now you're happy. All right, sweet. We're back. Cool. All right.
Cool, you like me again.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, with that being said, would we like to dive into our box office?
Yes, let's do it.
Perfect.
Yes, let's do it.
So,
abysmal. Moving on. No,
first things first, everybody. The runtime of this film is a surprising hour and 40 minutes. I will say now, I think that is surprisingly short. It
Yeah, it felt
we'll talk about pacing later.
Feel longer.
We'll talk about pacing later, just saying.
Mhm.
This was in its full theatrical released on August 9th, and the budget for this film was $110 to $120 million, which makes sense. It's a lot of CGI. A lot of CGI.
45.
But let's
Could have been even more
box
depending on if
office,
they're not including advertising
How
over
did
the
it-
last
Well, I
year.
mean,
Give me the numbers, Morgan. How did it do?
Well, we already said it sucks, guys, right? No, in the United States and Canada, Borderlands was released alongside It Ends With Us and Cuckoo, and was projected to gross $8 to $16 million from 3,125 theaters in its opening weekend. The film made $4 million on its first day, including an estimated $1.32 million from Thursday night previews. It ended up debuting with $8.6 million, finishing in fourth. It made 2.4 million in its second weekend. So as of Monday of this week, August 19th, Borderlands has grossed 13.9 million in the United States and Canada and 7.7 million in other territories for a worldwide total so far of 21.6 million. Its opening weekend, following its opening weekend deadline, Hollywood did report that the film would likely lose the studio 20 to 30 million. With that being said, everybody, it doesn't stop there, because the movie is tanking and bombing so bad at box office that genuinely the studio is giving up on its theatrical release. Literally, that is the headline. They are giving up on their theatrical release, and in 9 days, on the 30th, you will not have to spend money unless you don't have a subscription to go ahead and stream Borderlands. Like, not even a full month. It came out literally August 9th, August 30th. It's so bad it's going straight to streaming.
But
That's
here's the
probably gonna help.
caveat. Here's the caveat. They never said which one it was going to be on.
It'll probably be on many because it's trying to save its life.
Right, I know, but I thought that was the funny part. They were like, oh, it's going to streaming, but we're not going to tell you which ones. I was like,
see.
oh,
That's
okay.
actually
So
that's
actually it
kind of
does.
standard. That's actually kind of standard, though.
It's
So
on YouTube
it
for
says
$25.
it says sorry. Rather than being available for digital purchase and rental on August 30th, it should be going at least on Amazon. It will not be on Amazon Prime Video or Apple TV for rental or purchase. So we know that much. Which, a side note, sorry, this is going to be a slight, like, kind of a little bit away, because I had this discussion with Dan last night, is Inside Out, for example, like, that is a Disney film, and it is at its time where it's due to be released on streaming service on Disney Plus. It is not on Streaming Plus. You can only purchase it right now digitally or rent it. Like, it's and
Disney's a whore.
Well, yes, but
So
I think part of that is because, though, and there's actually a lot less ability to purchase DVDs and, like, hard copies. So, like, Dan and I have been watching the market, and they're like, because these platforms are making streaming services, they are phasing out their hard copies because they're losing money by making the copies and they're not selling enough. So it kind of feels like
Steelbooks.
almost the same sort of feeling here. Like, it's not going to be available for renting, like, this sort of thing. It's that bad. It's going straight. And they're probably not going to waste their time on hardly making any DVDs.
Yeah, but the idea or it being said it's going straight to streaming, like, that's pretty standard when movies come out. They say now streaming or on Max or some shit like that. So that wording doesn't particularly say anything
Sure,
to me.
but this is
but-
less than a month.
Yeah,
like,
well,
this
yeah,
is
but
really
you
quick.
also
It
saying
wasn't.
that you also saying that it's not going to be streaming for purchase. Like, that's immediately what I
Oh,
want to.
yeah,
The fact
yeah.
that's just going to end up on, like, Netflix.
Well,
or whatever the
but
fuck.
if you
Like,
think about it right
that is
now,
something different.
Disney is only streaming Inside Out for purchase. You have to
They did the
purchase
same
or
thing with
rent it.
Mulan.
No, they did.
All right, Disney,
100% they
Disney's
did.
an outlier.
Yep.
Disney
But
is a bunch of fucking freaks over there.
I
They just
personally
want their
think-
money and, like, screw you.
I think, is it Disney the outlier? Yes, but I think Disney sadly is setting the precedence, and more people are going to start doing it.
So, and KP, I feel like you got something you want to say, but give me one more minute.
No, you're good.
I think because I collect steelbooks, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that market is still going to be there because you can charge a little bit more. That probably is going to make it worth it to them. Like, it'll just be collector's items from now on if we're going this route. But considering the past couple of films that we've seen in the theaters, they're kind of packed. So I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
we're seeing a little bit of a cinemasance here. But if that's the case, and I hope it is, I hope we're trending that way, then I think that the Blu-ray sale will also have a bit of a renaissance as well. Disney is just its own thing. I can't take anything that Disney does as a president because they just do shit because they can, right? And the fact that they want to charge you probably fucking $10 to watch this thing on top of the 15 that you're paying doesn't surprise me. So I'll just wait and see. But I can't take this as anything yet.
I just find it fascinating, though, like the fact, though, that they're saying, "Oh, this movie has been in theater since the 9th," and
I have
Yeah, we
thoughts
don't-
about this, but I gotta wait for all you guys to talk first.
But it's almost feeling like my ship is sinking. I have to throw the water out, but I
Like,
literally
Well,
can't.
as
the
of
water
right now,
out.
as of tonight, as of this show, it has only been in theaters for 12 days, guys.
Have any of you seen what Ambulance is doing on Netflix right now? Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
No.
I know what movie
Okay.
you're talking about.
You know the movie that I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah, with Jake Gyllenhaal and shit.
Yep.
That's #1 on Netflix right now. It's #1 across the world. So bad movies do really well on streaming. So if this becomes a hit on streaming, just don't be surprised. Is all I'm saying. So it's actually probably a good fucking move. This way, you could probably save some of the money that you think you're gonna lose. We still don't know how that equates views to dollars, but if this comes out, and I'm sure there's enough morbid curiosity, at least for a couple days, it's gonna be a lot of fucking people watching this because they don't want to spend the money. It's gonna get a boost. How much of a boost? I don't know, but this probably is the best move. Just take it out of the fucking theater, put it on streaming. We'll see where it lies.
They'll make a drinking game out of it.
I mean, I'm down. Shit, let's go.
God.
Every time you don't laugh, take a shot. Damn it!
So you're just drinking.
So I'm just-
liquor.
I'm not stopping. It's just
That's right.
continuous.
Yeah.
Can I
Yep.
stop to
Waterfall.
breathe?
Nope. Nope. And
Can't
if
wait.
you're out, you just grab the next bottle.
And
Yeah.
that's how I died of alcohol poisoning, everybody.
Can't wait. I'm gonna trigger all of you.
So
Are you?
how I want to kind of start off this review is because Kitty and Dan
real quick. I'm sorry. You said it made 20 million overall, around 23 million.
21, I believe it was.
I'm not doing any favors by saying this, but I'm pretty sure Deadpool and Wolverine
Yeah.
just put that up on Thursday.
21.6.
Just to put things in perspective, I'm pretty sure Deadpool and Wolverine made that on Thursday night screenings.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
smacked.
that
that's
is
a no-brainer.
wild. Like,
That's a no-brainer. Like
wow.
those theaters were packed. Okay, let me ask you this before
My
we get
theater
into
was
that.
packed, but I went on cheap movie day.
Okay, I was gonna say, how many people were in your theater? when
Mine
you
was
went?
packed.
Yours
Mine was a
packed.
small theater, but it was a good amount of people.
I
Okay,
had a
Mark?
decent amount. I would say there was probably like 20 of us,
Dan.
and I went middle of the day.
Dan had 8, and he went that weekend. I had maybe like 8 or 9, and I went that weekend that it opened.
That is wild, man.
Yeah.
Even-
But I'm saying like
Never mind.
that's
I don't even want to go there.
but you're but I will say you could be right, like in the whole sense of you went on a cheap movie theater night, right?
Yeah.
Morgan went on a cheap movie theater night. I'm guessing Dreaded, you went on a cheap movie theater night, right?
Nope.
No. But like that could be why more people went, because
Oh,
if
for
you only
sure.
have to spend $5, yeah,
No,
you're gonna go
100%.
like I totally told Dan before I went, I'm like, I am going to spend as little as possible on this movie before I go. I do not want to spend more. And I ended up
didn't-
spending like 11 on my ticket, and I
Yes, it
spent
does.
more on eating.
I honestly did not have a choice. I just had to pay the price because if I didn't
No.
catch it yesterday, I
The
wasn't.
show
gonna be
must go
here.
on.
The shit I do for you guys.
Well, that's your own
So-
damn fault.
This one was Morgan's call. Talk to
My
me.
fault. How was
Actually-
that my fault?
If we did not have these two beautiful beings wanting to do this review with us, we probably would not have reviewed this show.
That's fair.
Whose idea was this? Whose idea was this? I've been questioning that.
It's fine.
Kitty reached out like, "Hey, the Borderlands movie's coming out. Can we review that with
Yes,
you?"
but that was because I said to her, "Hey, so the Borderlands movie is coming out. I would really like to tear this thing apart. Can I do that?" And she said, "Yes, you can." And I said, "Good, let's
I
go."
knew it. I knew I could blame you for this one. I knew it.
So
I really wanted to tear it apart.
So, how I kind of want to start this off is, I
I'm turning
heard
on my light. FYI. Striking.
perfect. I heard kind of like going into this before, just off of the trailers, that they were doing a interesting like mix and like meld of like Borderlands 1 and 2 for this film. So I kind of want to see like like what are you, with you both having the most knowledge?
So you're saying timeline based?
Yeah. What
Okay.
does it bleed into? Is it just Borderlands 1 or does it bleed into 2?
So there is no timeline for this. So
Gotcha.
let's break
Yeah.
this down. Let's break this down.
No,
okay?
that's fair.
Can I
Uh,
make an analogy for it, like for how
Sure.
I felt about it?
Sure.
So like, you guys remember the Super Mario Brothers movie, right?
Which
Great
one?
movie. Wait, which one?
That was about how close it was to the video games.
Oh, the '90s one.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Dude,
Super
I own
Mario
a copy
Brothers
of that
with
one,
John
and I'm proud
Leguizamo.
of it.
Yeah.
Don't care. Nostalgia.
So-
All right, so let's break this
Had to
down.
be there.
So Borderlands 1, we have Lilith, Mordecai, Brick, Roland. All right, cool. That makes sense. Borderlands 2, we have we have Maya. We're gonna do characters. I'm playing the DLC, so I can't say my DLC character. We have Axton, we have Salvador, and we have Zero. Okay, that's the main 4. If you add the 2 extras, you got Krieg, and you have Gage. I'm playing Gage. Krieg is also the other Anna.
We got stretch.
Time to
Thanks,
stretch,
Gara.
y'all.
Oh, man.
Oh, I gotta. Okay, we gotta stretch. Okay. Now let's look at who did we have in the movie. Lilith. Okay, we're checking the box. We got both of them in both 1 and 2. Cool. Roland. Both 1 and 2 were good.
To interrupt,
Tannis.
I just want to say when I did play, I was a Lilith main.
Nice. I played 1. I played Lilith, so I'm good. 2. I played Maya for a while. Dan is actually Maya right now, and then I moved over to Gage. Tannis. Tannis is in both. She's just an NPC character that you meet throughout the game. Krieg is a playable character again, so now we have a DLC character. Nox. Nox is a character that you meet in 1. Claptrap is a character you meet in everywhere. Marcus is an NPC character that you meet in everything.
I'm empty.
Moxie is an NPC
Yep.
character that you meet in everything. And then they listed Scooter, which I don't fucking know where he was, but he was in there.
I know.
But oh,
I
you
know
do?
exactly where they
I
were.
had
Yeah.
such a hard time putting where people were because I just gave up after a while.
I called out Scooter and Ellie like the instant they were on screen. They were only there for like half a second.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Scooter was on there for Scooter's in both. Ellie is in 2. And then Tiny Tina. Let's talk about her. What age
Oh, God.
is she supposed to be? Anybody guess?
I don't care. She's supposed to be dead.
No. What age is she supposed to be?
Like 8.
Like 13, I'd assume 12, 13.
Strangled in the womb.
That's me.
That's Luke.
No.
They
That's
actually
Tiny
say
Tina.
what age she is in the movie.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, is she like 15, 16?
I actually don't even know.
I missed it.
I
It's
completely
like,
did too.
it's like 13, which is
13.
weird because in the game she's 12 and 2. So if we were to go timeline based, and Dan already knows this because he's already been through 2, Roland's dead
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
she's 13. So that makes no sense on why she's there and why she would be hanging out with Roland. So now that's where I'm like, there is no timeline, and it's very conflicting. And where did Krieg come from? Because Krieg is an extra person that we know of. Crom is actually the wrong character in the movie. If you guys seen Crom, that was confusing. Crom was actually dressed as Mouthpiece, so that's not right. That's a big oops. So we have a lot of different things going on, and there is no pinpoint of where we're supposed to be, and I don't even know where I'm supposed to be in this whole thing.
Especially because we also had Commander, I think it was. Was that her rank? Nox?
Yeah, Nox. Yeah, that's
Who
his
was
daughter.
supposed to be based off. Oh, that was his daughter. I thought it was actually interpretation based off of
No, that's his
the
daughter.
original. Ah, okay. I didn't make
Yeah.
that connection.
That's all right. So
Which is then
yeah.
even kind of weirder.
Yeah.
like-
So it's like a whole weird. I don't know which one am I dancing in? Maybe over here, maybe over there. I'm not really sure. So I've come to the conclusion I can't basically put this in a timeline anywhere.
Okay, that's fair.
On this whole thing because it's all over the place. Like we never knew who Atlas. Like we never met Atlas. We knew Atlas was a gun company. Like you know that.
Mhm.
The other thing that was they had listed. I have IMDb up so I can look at all the people.
Mhm.
But they had I think they had Hammerlock listed as somebody in here, and I was like, where was he in the movie? Because that would have been cool to see. But he's also in a bunch of different ones as well. So I'm a little lost on where we're supposed to be.
Well, not based on any timelines. It's just one of those movies that has the IP and just kind of did its own thing with everything that's already existed. Kind of like that horrible, what's that movie called that me, you, and Kitty reviewed?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And I get that this was an adaptation, but the one thing I want to say about this adaptation, I know it was an adaptation because that's what they kept saying. It's an adaptation. But the one thing I want to say is, at least with Five Nights at Freddy's, it was, here's the games, here's the books, right? Let's take the two, because you even told me that the book lore was a little bit different than the video game lore, right, Dredden?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and it was like they took the two pieces of those and just kind of made their own jam, right?
Mhm.
That's how it felt. With this, I'm like, what else do they have compare it to? They have only the video game lore, and we're making an adaptation off of something, and I don't understand. And that's where I'm getting confused and lost with this whole movie.
And I find it also confusing that the fact that, like, Gearbox was a part of this. They had their hand in the production. It wasn't like someone came out to them like, hey, Gearbox, we'd really like to make this film. Like, this is in production with Gearbox, like the creators of Borderlands. So it's really surprising to me to see, like, how, like, far away from the source material it is.
Well, considering that Borderlands 4 was also like announced like yesterday, I can imagine that Gearbox is probably more focused on that and not really, I guess, I don't want to say not caring about what the movie did, but I feel like their focus definitely is on like, let's focus on what the people really, really would want, and maybe not so much of whatever the studios and Eli Roth was thinking with this film.
So the one thing that Latin and I talked about was the fact that Eli Roth really just went on his own. Like, he really didn't care. He didn't care what really anybody had to say. And when he came out and said things like, these are characters you've never seen before. And I'm like, you can't say that. That's awful, because we know who Lilith, Roland, Tiny Tina, Tannis, Krieg, like, we know those people, you know, as a gamer. And then the other issue was, if you watch any of the things that they said, and this was brought up a lot during my streams, which I thought was really funny, they were talking about how the actors who were playing these characters were like, oh yeah, we were told about the story, but they never sat down and actually went and had an immersive, like, immersing themselves in the actual gameplay or anything to actually understand the story. They were just told, like, well, this is what happens and this is how it works and la da 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 da, and, you know.
Well, that makes sense that they didn't. Look at how old most of the cast is.
Yeah.
That makes
Like-
sense from their performance too.
Yeah, I also have some issues.
Like, there are some cast members that I didn't mind compared to others. And that's not me comparing them to the video games. That is me just comparing them to each other in the film.
Well, before we move on to anything about casting characters and stuff like that, I do want to bring up two things that I also went in really feeling weird about. That this film was a PG-13. What?
Yeah.
Eli Roth, who created films like Hostel and Hostel Part 2, he's made some R-rated bloody films. You telling me this was a 13?
He just had a horror movie come out over the holidays last year.
Yes, he did.
And it didn't do really well too.
I don't know about really well, but I know it wasn't like, I think people did like it.
Solid. For him, it's solid.
Okay.
Because
I know that was like all over social media. Like, he did this really great horror movie. And I was like, okay.
But I can also see also why this film's probably has issues that I'm going to bring up later too, because when I look at the producer Eric Feig, who has worked on some shit from the lame Step Up movies, the bad I Know What You Did Last Summer, except for the first one. That one's good.
I like the second one.
This one, and of course, I mean, I got to bring up, he was an executive producer on the greatest movie that was ever made. I think you guys know what it is. Starring Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, you should have led with that.
Yes.
Good old chaos walking.
What idea was that?
I don't know, but he's executive producer on that fucking movie. Oh, it's hilarious. I love it.
Fucking
so much.
drag me to see another shitty movie, Morgan.
But I had to bring that
You're
up,
the one
'cause
who
I
wanted
also-
to review The Little Things.
Yo, that okay. Sidebar.
That is our lowest rated movie on this show.
Transcendence was pretty bad too.
No, we both rated it a 2.
That's fair though. But come on, who's in the movie? How did it look? How was the trailer? That movie looked like it should have been great. let's be honest here. That movie should have been at least okay. Instead, it sucks.
Can I just say though, when this was first released and they sent the trailer out and they were like, "This is what we're doing," I literally said out loud, I was like, "This is gonna be the worst movie in the world." And
So-
everybody was like, "Give it
remember
time,
that.
give it time," and I'm like, "It's gonna be terrible." And everybody kept telling me, "Give it time," and I kept saying, "No, it's gonna be awful."
I'm just waiting because Anthony and I have been through this before, so it's actually kind of funny to see somebody else go through this because normally it's us. So I'm excited and having a ball listening to you guys talk because like we've been there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I can't wait. I can't wait. Continue. Please continue.
But there is a good reason why I did want to bring up Eric Fee as a executive producer, because was I the only one of my biggest issues, was it just me or was the filmmaking just bad?
It felt very novice. It didn't.
Yeah,
It felt very like it almost felt cookie cutter than necessarily like being really creative. So
'cause
I don't disagree with you.
I don't know a lot about Borderlands is expected, but I guess I've seen enough to kind of get a vibe and feel like how things look, and everything looked like somehow trying to be accurate, but like not at the same time. It almost looked like a stage production in a way. And one of my favorite YouTubers who reviews movies, Jeremy John, said it best because I couldn't put it into words. Like, this movie looks like the dollar versions of different films. It looks like a dollar version Mad Max, a dollar version Guardians of the Galaxy, and a dollar version Suicide Squad. And I was like, that's actually very accurate. It is not even just the sets that I was really having a problem with. The editing was really not good either, actually, too, in places.
It was very simplistic.
Simplistic, jarring, like, whoa, when did this happen? When did you get over here? What? Some bad green screen as well, some bad special effects, which I try not to criticize special effects all the time, but they were noticeably like, whoa, okay, what are we doing there?
They pulled all the kids from college. It's fine.
You know what the sad part is that's probably the best part of this film is its visuals.
I can't even say that because in my opinion, I have a different thing that I actually liked that kind of kept me invested in the movie. But I will at least admit, here's probably one of the only two good things I say about the movie is that there is an action sequence in this film that's like, okay, actually, I like this sequence. And it's the scene in that tunnel. I actually like that sequence. That was pretty fun. It had some cool visuals with characters doing some cool poses and stuff like that. But that is like one of the two nice things I can say about this movie. And we'll get to the other one when we talk about characters.
Sounds good.
All right. But anybody else got anything to say about bad filmmaking? Maybe our other wannabe filmmakers? I think I've spoken pretty well.
No, if I start talking about this movie, I'm not going to stop. And you guys have a little flow going on here, so I'm just gonna wait.
I mean,
so you're just waiting for a certain point.
I'm waiting for Morgan to steer us to the next topic. That's what I'm doing.
Well, is there anything that you need, Dan, or do you want me to go ahead and pivot us?
Well, I was just gonna riff off of what Dreaded was saying was with the filmmaking and the styling and the posings. I actually did see somebody that was talking about it, and it actually did kind of make sense because I've actually technically seen most of the scenes twice now. There does seem to be a lot of like action figure poses in a lot of what they do.
Sure.
Like, even if you watch in the trailer, they're like when a good example from the trailer with the scene where Lilith, Kate Blanchett, is like rolling over something and firing her gun. She's posing before she fires, and it just kind of holds long enough. It feels like an action figure.
I have a question about that. Don't they do that for character intros in the game?
But that's different. The character intros, when they do it, have a screen title. And if they did that kind of concept, that would have been fun.
Well, yeah.
Because that would have made it more, in the realm of Borderlands-esque.
Yeah.
Them just posing randomly did not make sense to me.
We only have so much budget, KP.
For me, I guess I can say...
They had a freaking budget of $120 million.
We will tell you right now, $100 million movie is an independent film these days. Like, pretty fucking close.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, you could just do like freeze frame, splash screen.
All I'm saying is,
jump back into the action.
It would have been really cheap and easy to make it happen.
Maybe that's why. That's all I'm saying. I'm just making the argument that maybe that's why.
Maybe the college kids that they hired just couldn't do the skill.
Somebody has actually played the game and was like, we need to put something that kind of reminds me of the game.
Let's not forget that a film like Godzilla Minus One is only 10 to 15 million.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Len.
So I'm just...
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
Which actually led to that. Okay, I just read chat. That's actually a really good point, and I think that's actually a good pivot. I really think that's a good pivot.
That's a great pivot.
Yeah,
It's a
so
great pivot.
I want to know your thoughts on cast. There's people I like. I have a lot of thoughts on cast. But who wants to start? Do we want me to start or
Can I actually start? Because
Go
this is
for
actually
it,
what I
Dreaded.
did want. This is
Go
the
for it.
second nice thing I have to say, right?
go
Go
for
for
it,
I'm just gonna
please?
start with the what I like, and this might be a controversial thing to say because I'm not a fan, but whatever. Kevin Hart and Jack Black is the only reason I sort of can tolerate this movie.
I knew that was coming.
They're the only reasons why. For me, Kevin Hart is like playing a straight man, which you don't really see that often. But here's the thing about it, though, because Kevin Hart is, of course, a comedian, of course, right? So you've laughed at him and other stuff where it is stand-up, right? His delivery in some of his line as being a straight man does come off as funny, but not in that I'm trying to be quippy, irritating funny. It's just more like it's just funny. Like, you're just that natural kind of funny person to me. So that's why he was tolerable for me. Jack Black, I mean, his lines were just funny to me. Some things he said and some of his delivery I thought was actually funny. Not hilarious. I just laughed at him. But there were people in my theater dying at that shit. There were some people in my theater who was eating Jack Black as Claptrap up. I didn't dislike him, but
My
again, I
theater was
don't have a lot
crickets.
of.
I have
My theater
I
is
have a
crickets.
I have a theory about Kevin Hart, and I think that this was like the only movie that came across his desk where he could play that type of role. He's pretty much been typecast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
But that's why I think they got him. He desperately wants to be a badass, and this was the only role that came across his desk where they were like, "All right, we'll let you be the badass."
Even in the Jumanji movies, I think his humor was actually a little better considering from what I would typically see from him. Because I see a lot of him, I see him in other I guess R-rated comedy stuff or PG-13 comedies that are not based on anything like films like Think Like a Man, etc. and stuff like that. So he is funny. I really do stand by that as well. But I think sometimes he might have to be. I mean, he is still typecast, but it's kind of, I guess, a little different, I guess, in the Jumanji films, like considering what lines they give him and what he's playing.
I don't think you're going to see too many instances of Kevin Hart playing this type of role, especially since this one didn't do very well at the box office. So this was his chance, and we got to see it. And personally, I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's going to get any more opportunities. Second, I also enjoyed Jack Black, and like overall, before I let you guys just tear it to shreds, I like the cast in that I like the actors. Like they got some big names in this movie. They really did. They got some surprising people in this movie. Are they good for the roles?
Probably not.
I don't think so, but they're really good actors, so it's not like they're bad. You got the best actors you could get. I agree with the comment about all the budget money going to them, but I mean, you got them. So kudos to you for getting the cast that you got.
My problem with the other cast members, because again, Jack Black and Kevin Hart are the only things I kind of like. Everyone else, the issue I have is like, I feel like they don't want to be there. They're just here for the check and they don't care.
I don't necessarily disagree, but you fucking got him.
Yeah. Oh shit. Wait, who's that other? I forgot. There's actually another character in this film that I kind of like. Who's the dude with the mask? I forgot his name.
Krieg.
Is that him? Okay. Krieg. I'm not gonna lie. Krieg also made me laugh because of his like. Character. He's like saying lines. I'm like, he's clearly like dumb and doesn't know what to say, like gunshot, but he says like spine shatter or something like that, or spine shatter. I'm like, okay, that's actually kind of funny because he's.
You guys can tell me. You guys can tell me if I'm right or not. But if you watch this movie trying to learn anything about Krieg, you're gonna be sadly disappointed. I didn't know much about him going in. I knew even less about him coming out.
I just saw him. He's a big guy. He's a big dude who uses blunt weapons and he likes to kill shit. That's what I got from him.
Yep.
Okay, tear into it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, before they rip it apart, I'll go real quick. So
holding my tongue so hard.
It's fine. It's great. I love the pain that you're in. So
I've been doing it this whole time. It's your turn.
So, in terms of the cast, I agree with what you said, Luke. I love the cast, but I don't love them for these roles. These are like this is an amazing cast, but this cast was not meant for this movie. Like, if I want to go off of the ones I like, and this is not comparing it to the video game, just comparing them to the rest of the cast. I think Jack Black did a good job, but that is not comparing it again to the video game, because I know Claptrap. Like, I fucking love Claptrap. I think Claptrap is great.
Since you're talking about him, why not just get the guy that does his voice in the game to do it? Like, why do they do this?
Also,
Why
Okay,
do
we're
they?
thinking we've actually Dan and I have actually had that conversation.
I also
Yep.
have a question. I'm curious about this because
bigger
I know
name.
you guys said this earlier, but why do you guys actually don't like Claptrap? Not in this movie. I feel like y'all don't like him in general. Like, why
Oh,
don't y'all
yeah.
like him?
Like, why don't we like
Yeah,
Claptrap as a
I don't get
character?
the
But
Claptrap
can I
hate
just
either.
say something about the voice actor very quickly before we,
Yes.
we jump into that? And
Yeah.
and Dan, this is fine for you to know. The voice actor from 1 and 2 is a different voice actor who plays in 3 as Claptrap, and that's because the voice actor in 1 and 2 did something that pissed off Randy Pitchford, and that was the whole reason that they were no longer there.
Gotcha.
So that's why I don't think they were able to actually just be like, "Hey, let's get the guy who does the voice." I think there was a whole probably like you're kind of poking the bear if we do that kind of thing. So I
Fair.
think that's why they didn't do it.
There's another guy though, yeah.
There is another guy. You could tell the difference between 1 and 2 to 3. It's very weird. I don't like. I forgot that they changed it after because Dan and I are doing 1 and we've been doing all the series and everything. But again for me, but like it's just a very off voice compared to the original Claptrap. So I think if they were able to pull the original, that would have been cool. But the fact that there was some fall off in between didn't quite help. So
Yeah, and
that's
just
probably why they weren't able to do that.
and that's just really fucking weird to me because instead of me getting Jack Black doing an impression of the guy that does Claptrap, just get me fucking Claptrap.
I agree.
But,
I
but they
totally
do
agree
that
with
with
you.
everything. They do that with everything. Like Mario
Mhm.
couldn't play Mario. Fucking, I think Peter Cullen, Optimus, is like the only dude that's translated from the show to the fucking movie. Outside of that, they always recast him. Sorry, go ahead, Morgan.
No, you're totally right though.
So another one that I like, I think the person I liked the absolute most out of the entire cast is honestly probably Tannis. I think Jamie Lee Curtis, it could be a really good fit for Tannis. I don't think her performance was top notch. But I do think she could have became a really decent Tannis. But on the other side, I think Cate Blanchett did well. However, she's too old for Lilith. She's not Lilith. Like, I like literally. I agree with you guys. Kevin Hart didn't do bad with the material he was provided, but he's not Roland. And everybody was giving shade on how old Cate Blanchett was and how small Kevin Hart is. And then they usually use that as punchlines for their characters right off the rip.
And they did. Oh, he sent his smallest soldier. I was like,
Yep.
come on.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm getting too old for this shit." They're like, that whole thing with Cate Blanchett's character with Lilith. Like, there is some decency here because you do have good actors, but it's not their roles. So for me, my favorite person was Tannis. There was a lot of room for Tannis to still be better, but that was the person I enjoyed the most.
I think you knew that 'cause
I don't even want to talk about Tiny Tina. I fucking despised her.
I didn't hate her. I mean, they didn't really give her much to do.
She
and I
annoyed the
agree
fuck
with
out of
bad-
me.
I agree with the bad green screen, especially when she was throwing the freaking bunnies off the thing. But like,
Mhm.
whatever. She didn't bother me. She was not nearly as much fun as she is in the game, though.
For sure.
Agreed.
For sure.
Like that is a fact.
I can't find
It's
my
just-
chainsaw!
I think what I hate, like I mentioned
shelf.
earlier, that I'm not a fan of the pacing of this film when we were talking about the length
That's appropriate.
of this film, but I'm just so disappointed in the character development that we get from these characters. All the information that we get, or like the even lack thereof information and the alluding we get with Lilith and Tannis, like it could have been decent, but like they start something and then they just move away from it. And if they gave themselves more time in the film, they could have progressed things better for better character development and maybe better character portrayal. Because we don't get a lot of chance for these actors to get really deep moments to develop their character. And I think that's where a handful of these actors can really shine. But they don't get that chance to do so with the way this was scripted. That is my thought. I will let you two, who really know these characters better than the rest of us, rip it apart.
The floor is yours.
Go ahead, Dan. I'll let you go first. You're still the newbie.
Well, so I kind of have to agree with Morgan that I like you saw me give the thumbs up. I agree. Jamie Lee Curtis, regardless of whether or not she was Tannis, she felt the most grounded of the characters. Like,
Yes.
she was the one that I could actually like be like, yes, I can understand this person. I can understand their motivations. I can understand why they are the way they are. And she kind of presented that whole persona that actually I felt fit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I mean, Lilith just kind of right from the get-go felt more like she was just trying to be like Han Solo, like the badass bounty hunter, trying to play it as like straight as possible. Never really felt like a whole lot of emotion from anything from her. But again, that could just be coming down to again, like you said, the scripting and potentially the directing. Like if they would have been given like a different direction, like this is great and all, just like give us like a little bit more expression in it, like actually like feel what's going on here, like for lack of not wanting to like spoil any plot or anything with it, but like the whole like conversation about like where she's like, I'm like, my mother sent me off with you to go leave here like 36 years ago, and it's like it just didn't really feel like it was that hard hitting to her, just with the way that she was emoting for that kind of
She's deadpan a lot.
conversation. Yeah. And I mean, Roland, when with Kevin Hart, yeah, he did some pretty good stuff with it. He had some pretty good lines for it, and there were some pretty good one-liners that come across comedic, but also you could see it as like, somebody trying to be straight-laced with it, like yelling at Tannis, you ask for a gun, you don't just take it, like something like that, where it's like, yeah, it's good humor in that moment, but also you could see it being like somebody that's trying to be straight-laced, but again, with Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart and what we know him from, like you said, with the typecast. So I'm just kind of like repeating a lot of this stuff, but
it happens. Please repeat.
yeah. But the one thing that I probably would have liked more is more of Marcus, honestly, because like he felt like he was the one that was like as soon as I saw him in the trailers, as soon as I saw him in the movie, I was just like, that is Marcus. If they would have just changed up just like his style just a little bit more to make him look more like the video game character, I would have been like, yes, this is literally the video game.
No, Marcus is the one who was driving the bus, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
The guns.
Yes.
Gotcha.
No refunds.
No refunds, yes.
Oh, I never forget the gun. Like I was like, dude, this is freaking Marcus. Like I could see him literally like voicing the dialogue for the vending machines.
Oh yeah.
Like, they had a really good find with him. And it just was like, that was like the standout character to me. So like fantastic casting on that.
Very nice.
I still have no idea what the heck Bobby Lee was doing there. Like, I feel
why
like
was Bobby Lee here?
he was just like some guy who roomed with Roland in Crimson Raider Academy and just like, hey, yeah, I recognize you. Like I told him, don't shoot him.
It pays to be friends with the director.
Yeah, it's just like he didn't really serve purpose. Like if he was not there, the runtime would have been like, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes shorter, and you could still have the exact same outcome with like the
Let's be honest,
we need to get stuff.
His purpose was for us to enjoy watching him get tasered. It was
Somebody had to spill
his
over the
purpose
tea.
was
Pretty
to
much, yeah.
his purpose was to show more of Moxie's character.
Yeah.
Who I did not know was Gina Gershon. I did not know that initially.
Mhm.
I didn't even know she still acted. That was incredible.
Last time I saw her was in Riverdale, and I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, well, see, I haven't watched Riverdale, so that explains it.
Just don't.
The one thing that I will say kind of blew me away was like seeing in the background, and I didn't even notice this when I watched it, but back when I was like scrolling through Instagram a couple days later, Jessica Negri was one of the barmaids standing behind Moxie at the bar. I didn't even notice her. I was like she's pretty much known for having like one of the most phenomenal Moxie cosplays that are like credited out there, and I'm like,
Yeah, so there was I sent you the video, Kitty, of I'm blanking on Angel, thank you. She was technically like, there were like people were like, the whole cast was like reached out like, you could potentially be we might want you to be in a cameo, and she denied it. But they're supposed to be apparently chock filled with cameos, but I don't really feel like they use their cameos to the power that a cameo should hold. You
There is
know?
one- You-
Her whole entire story though behind what happened though was fascinating because she's like, I don't want to go out there and be quarantined for a week and then shoot for 3 days and you see the back of my head and that's your Easter egg and then I leave. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
So I thought that like I listened to the whole thing and I was like, that's the fact that she said no is just amazing, and what she had to say was just awesome.
I feel like I did catch a cameo. I was like, was that who I thought that was? Although I'm afraid to say, no, wait, no, I swear, did I catch Hornswoggle from WWE in this movie?
Yes,
I
you did.
swear I did.
Yes,
It
you
was
did.
him.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was. There was
Just
a.
watch
There
the
was a
process real quick.
I was like, I knew it.
Uh-huh.
I knew that was him.
Oh,
Random shit in this movie.
That's really funny. But Kitty, please tell us your thoughts on the cast and the characters.
All right, so let's start at the top of the list here. We start off with Lilith. We meet her right off the bat. She's supposed to be this bounty hunter, which I'm like, okay, you're a bounty hunter, I guess. I know, I'm like, you're a bounty hunter, I guess, today. Sure. Not a vault hunter, because God forbid you be a vault hunter. It just was odd. Lilith, Kate Blanchett as Lilith does not compute. There was many things. If I want to, I don't know how much you want me to go into detail that, like, based on what they actually, like, their character look. If you want me to do that, Morgan, or not, let me know. I can.
I mean, up to you.
Okay. So one of the things that really irked me about Lilith is the fact that she's a siren.
Mhm.
And if you're a siren, you have your markings. She had no markings. None. The markings run everywhere from your neck all the way down your right arm, or whatever arm that they want to put it on, all the way down your side. And she had none of that. And I was like, but she's Lilith. She's supposed to be a siren. Like, that's her character. So that was very confusing for me. And then we get to Roland. And I understand that the greatest fight was in the tunnel, and I get that, but deep down inside, and I agree with what Latin was saying, I was screaming, where's your freaking scorpion turret? Why aren't you throwing that out? Why aren't you throwing that out? That's your thing. Because
so many
they
missed
gave,
opportunities for.
because they gave
We only have so much budget.
but they gave Tiny Tina her badonkadonks. So what the fuck? Give her their
I got so scared
badonkadonks,
when she
but
said
you
that.
you don't give Roland his turret. You don't give Lilith her mark. Like, I was very confused on that. Krieg got his weapon of choice, which is that is his weapon. And I know you guys said that he's very underplayed. But I will tell you, his character is a very fascinating character. He fights within himself of his own personality, which is amazing. And he has internal thoughts because he's so messed up. And that's what you learn from his character. Unfortunately, on the outside, all you hear is just those words of him saying, spine, what to kill, what to bring with me. Like, that's all you hear. And so internally, he'll say things like, I wish I could give her a hug. And then outernally, he'll say, I must kill you and take your brains. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Or meat bicycle. Like, it's very odd, but that's how his character is. So I really thought he did a good job. I thought it fit, like, Krieg in general was really good.
I agree.
Tiny Tina, we could just throw her out the door. It's fine. Claptrap, we could throw him out the door. It's fine. Marcus was another one that I was really happy about. He had the full, like, I was like, oh my God, this is Marcus. This is it. I finally see him. Okay, I'm game for this. Let's go. I loved, like, how he played off of things. I wish there was more. Like, I really wish that he had more of him, in general. And then Moxie was pretty good, but she didn't really, like, hit the mark I was looking for personally. I'm looking for more of that, like, hey, sugar.
A little bit more of that
Come and
spunk.
see me sometime. Yeah, like more of the, like, seducing as opposed to just like, welcome to my bar, go in the back, I'll get you out of here. Like, I was like more like, where's the more, like, seductive Moxie that we see in the video games? Like, I want that. Give me that. And then I do have to say, I actually do like Larry, just because if they were to take Larry's character and just as a whole on his own and make him just a basic vault hunter, like I think that could have been a really cool angle. But that's like my internal brain going, I can fix this whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the part that I went to in my head. I was like, let me write how I can fix this. But I don't really feel like Jack Black really hit the mark with Claptrap. I feel like he tried, and I give him, kudos for trying. I feel like Roland tried, but Roland is very deadpan. He's very like he's a very like dry humor type of character that you meet and everything. And Lilith is very the same. Like she's very like dry and like I'm just here to, do my thing and that's it. But and the other thing that was very odd that I didn't like so much was the fact of like Lilith and Roland are supposed to know each other, and the fact that they don't is very weird. Because Lilith knows Tannis and Roland doesn't know Tannis. Like there's this whole triangle of people not knowing each other was throwing me off. And then as far as Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis, I just got the vibe of like I'm a mom. That's all I took from it. I was like, I don't even have like crazy, and I know Latin loves Tannis, but I didn't get that crazy like. Okay, so let me explain Tannis a little bit. Not to like derail, but there's a spot where Tannis is working in a lab, and she has like all these people working with her. Well, eventually she's like, I really want that chair, and so she over time starts killing off her coworkers and then steals the chair that she wants. That's the type of Tannis I was looking for, not the one that felt like I'm an old lady who is also your mom and is here to take care of you, but also is afraid to like hold a gun and do anything else in life. So I felt very like there's two different versions here we got going on, and I don't like this one. Where's the crazy lady who wants to steal a chair because she finds it comfortable and murders her coworkers?
From how you describe it, it seems like this movie was just completely held back from being all out, which it should have been.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there was so much they could have done in this movie, and it just felt like I feel like if they just went with a little bit more of the lore and kind of stuck to things that, that we know, like, I don't even care if it's shot almost one for one. Like, I don't give a shit, at that point. But this is just, I don't know what they tried to do.
Well, so let me answer this question I had earlier. Not for this movie. Why don't you like Claptrap?
Oh, okay. So let's break down Claptrap. So in the games, Claptrap you meet first off, and he goes, "Hello there." He goes, "I see a beautiful, handsome, ugly person in front of me." And then you're like, "Okay, great." And then throughout the whole thing, he's like, he'll go through these missions with you, and he'll be like, Vault Hunter, kill these people. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? or you get to stairs and he'll be like, stairs? I hate stairs. And you're like,
so do I.
Dude. And like
the
whole
combination
time,
of like the delivery and the situational humor that he tends to bring into it. It's
but then
kind of reminiscent of like somebody who was trying to be cool in like mid 2000s high school.
Hey man,
and trying to be like, I'm so random.
Onward Minion was my phrase for like a solid year.
But at some point, if you're doing a mission with Claptrap, he'll just continuously bug you, and you're like, I just want to do 1 second. I just need to 1 second. I just 1 second. I just need to go over here. 1 second, please, for the love of God. I just need, and he'll just keep going and just keeps nagging you and nagging you and nagging you, and you're just like, will you just shut the fuck up for a second? And you could shoot him, but I won't do anything.
So you're not a Navi fan, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. but
Kind
if
of
you're
going
playing
along
the
with-
game, you get to a point where you're just like, I just want to throw him. I just want to throw him. Please, for the love of God, let me throw him.
Which kind of going along with that, do you think it might have been better if Claptrap was more annoying in the movies?
I
Like, do you think he would be like more like Claptrap?
I think his voice lines are. I think it's what they gave him to use. They were like, "Oh, we'll make it funny by having him be like, oh, I need to defecate all these bullets out of my body," and I was like, "This is not even funny. This is just wrong. It's just wrong." There was one scene, I will say there was one scene that I was like, oh my god, he just did exactly what every gamer wants to do to Claptrap. And there's a part where he has to go up the stairs and Black Claptrap. Oh god. Claptrap says, I can't, my body, or my, he says basically, I can't do this, I'm not made to do this. And Krieg turns around and grabs him and just picks him up and is like, and he's like screaming because he's like getting carried. And I'm like, I just would love to do that to him too. Just pick him up and just be like, fine, let's go.
So the short answer is Claptrap's very annoying.
Yeah.
I guess it depends. I think he's fucking hilarious. So I don't.
He's
I don't know
annoyingly funny.
I don't know. That's about me. Like
you're also very annoying, Luke.
I mean, well, you did want to commit babicide or whatever the fuck.
I wanted to murder you today. Yes,
on my behalf. So yeah. I wasn't trying to take over. I'm just saying. I don't know what that says about me, but apparently a lot.
So I'm curious. From all of your perspectives, how did we feel about the pacing of this film? I personally think it could have. I say this hesitantly. I think it was a very short film. I don't think it felt short. It felt. It was just a lot of I don't know what's happening with this pacing, right? I felt like if the film was longer, they could have had additional scenes to pace it better, but that also requires better script writing. And I don't know. It's just a lot of times things felt really jarring. Like, I don't know what it was about this pace, but it felt very like almost like you were stuck watching a movie and your internet kept making you buffer every like 10 seconds. It's kind of how yeah, exactly. Like I even genuinely, like at one point I left the theater twice to use the restroom because for whatever reason my stomach wasn't having it, which is very abnormal for me. And I was like, well, at least I am having to leave during this movie. And then I come back and I felt like I missed nothing, but I also felt like I missed a lot. And I was gone for maybe 2 minutes each time, everything just felt very much like, okay, we're here and boom, now we're here and boom, now we're here. And like, but it never felt cohesive. Like even just the moment of where we get the information and like how, we get to see Lilith's childhood home, and we have the quick, oh, this is unlocking something in my core data frame, and it just felt just very much like forced. A lot of like the important information and important developments felt very much okay, we need to have this, so bam, here it is, rather than like progressing it and pacing it to flow better. That's how I felt about the film.
How the fuck did I watch a movie for 30 minutes and I swear I was an hour in?
I don't know. I feel like some parts of it kind of made it feel like it was trying to truncate down some exposition, but then also expand others for the sake of having a longer scene.
I'd rather have the expansion.
I mean, I feel like you didn't even really need any like narration during the very beginning where she was just like, I needed to go find where everything was. So I talked to the vault hunter, or not the vault. I talked to these like scavenger kids. It's like, you didn't even really need to narrate that.
Also,
why was there narration? Because that like went away eventually.
Also, missed opportunity with Marcus.
Yeah. Just use Marcus for exposition.
But that was his whole thing. Every game you start, he goes, so you want to hear a story? Missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
they didn't need the narration. It was just like out of place because it only happens in that like one little bit and then it never happens again.
Well, they were trying to emulate the games because if you look at the games, it only happens in that one spot in the beginning and then you never have it again. So it's over. So they were emulating to make it feel like it was Borderlands, even though it was a combination of we don't know what.
Did anybody else notice that some lines felt dubbed in for some reason?
Happens all the time. And yes.
But noticeably.
Oh yeah. No, I catch that shit all the time.
Yeah.
And when it's like blatant, it's fucking blatant. You'll be like, that's not what they said. What are you doing?
Yeah, I noticed that a bunch of times, especially in that beginning, like, are we sure that's the dialogue here?
Mm-hmm. And that's probably
there
like the fifth time
anyone
they
that
dubbed
sticks
it
out?
too.
Hmm.
I can't think of anything specific, but it happens in movies all the time, and it's usually like
The most specific
I
I can
don't
think
know.
about is Tom Hardy in
Like
some
X-Men
movies where he
folks.
gets dubbed over, probably.
right. I mean,
Particularly Bane, and I think Max. Actually, no, I think Max.
oh yeah, Max has been
Yeah.
dubbed a lot, but they do that a lot, and it's a lot easier when a character has a fucking mask on because you don't see what they're saying anyway. But in those moments when you can clearly see, they said, "Hey, what's up?" Instead, you hear like "fuck you." It's like that's not what they said. I see it.
Also, can we talk about how much more I really want to murder Tiny Tina?
We can talk about that in a bit. But
Okay, in a bit.
as but yeah, I agree with you, Morgan. The pacing was just it was off. It was almost like they were trying to do a mix of the pacing between BL2 to BL1. Like BL2 is very quick. You know, and I noticed I told Dan, I said, it's gonna be fast. Like we're gonna get through some things and you're gonna be like, where did the time go? We're done almost. But then Borderlands 1 felt like it was just dragging forever. And that's just because that was the first game that they ever made, right? And so
Wait.
I don't for the series, I mean, for the series. Sorry, not that they ever made period, but for the series. Caught myself. Okay. But
No, I agree. Was like you said, Borderlands 2 was really quick. Like
Yeah.
it was. Luke, what are you doing, man?
oh
It's a matter of opinion.
no, it is. It's a very like if you just play story and you don't go off missions, like at
Oh
all,
well, yeah. That's
what we were doing
yeah,
because
sure.
I wanted him to understand the story. Like it was not like we did do some side stuff, but it felt like if you were just basing on storyline, Borderlands 1 feels a lot longer than Borderlands 2. It feels like it just flies by and you're like, and I'm done. Where did it go?
Halo Infinite is like that. That one bummed me out too. I beat that so quick, and I was like, because I didn't do it inside missions. I was like, oh, I'm done.
Oh yeah, I
All right,
remember
cool.
games that I beat really quickly because I beat Arkham City really quick without side missions. Hell, I just remembered this because I was upset about this. Freaking oh god, what's that game called? The little tiny person with the yellow hood, not Georgie though.
Little Nightmares?
Little Nightmares was super quick.
Which,
By the way,
they're making a 3.
That's a
Yeah, I
cheap
don't care.
tactic. That's a cheap tactic that I'm not particularly happy that studios do because that doesn't. Your game isn't long. You just tack down a bunch of shit to make it feel longer. Your story's 4 hours long. But if I do every single mission, it'll drag out to 20. Fuck you.
But yeah, as far as the movie goes, though, it just felt very disjointed. Like the long scene of driving the car, I was like, cool, this is kind of fun. Like I get it. We're setting up like what Pandora looks like a little bit, right?
And showing like the progression because they don't want to fit everything into it, every little tiny detail.
Right. But then all of a sudden we're in Sanctuary. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now we're in Sanctuary.
Like I also feel like the pacing didn't set up for Atlas being our big bad very well. All of a sudden,
no, it definitely
Atlas
did
was
not.
just fucking there.
But let me tell you, I loved the idea of Atlas.
Sure,
Like
sure.
that was a really good idea. I just don't think it was executed correctly.
Also, I don't get why like Vault Hunters, like the other ones who are wearing the mask like Krieg. I'm blanking on their name off the top of my head. Thank you. Yeah. I don't get why all of a sudden if you see the daughter of Iridia all of a sudden opening shit up and turning into what is the depiction of your goddess, like you continue to still fight for the man? Like I don't my brain's like why?
Because bandits are not smart. Okay.
I still feel like not smart can be like, oh look, my savior.
Bicycles. Like you're literally they say.
Oh, pretty flaming lady.
Bicycle.
I'd be like, pretty flaming lady, let's help her.
Oh, fire!
Yeah, please. I don't know. There's just some parts. The IQ aside, I felt like it was still like,
IQ is sad.
you know.
But that's
Come
the
on.
point of bandits. They don't have an IQ.
Also, does God pay you? right? Like I'm sure the other guys are paying.
Possibly so.
Probably, maybe.
Not
They didn't set that up though for us to know.
But yes, the pacing was very confusing.
It
So
was
I
really
completely
bad.
agree.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So I can't add any more to.
So
let's find Tina and throw her in the acid pit, right? Also, I just want to bring this up too because I just discovered this. The girl who plays Tiny Tina, for
Mhm.
one, has actually been in a few things. She's always playing the young version of the character. She's young Gamora in Infinity War. She's Morgan probably gives this one. Young Nina Rosario in The Heights, the only musical that I actually like, that I actually kind of want to watch.
I've actually never
She's
watched
young
In the Heights.
Ahsoka Tano, and also not the young version. She's also in 65. She was the kid in 65, which I
Nice.
completely forgot about that movie.
She'll be fine. She'll like this.
She is also going to be in the upcoming Fear Street movie. Please don't be
she's
annoying in
gonna be
that.
just fine. Gonna be just fine.
Probably.
I mean, everybody in this movie is gonna be just fine. I think the only one that's really gonna suffer is probably Eli Roth.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I
For
mean,
sure.
maybe some of his other films I don't think ever really do bad. I suppose.
Well, he's already like a super independent filmmaker anyway. Like he usually doesn't make a movie for over a budget of $100 million. This is like an anomaly here. The fact that he was chosen for this, and I like Eli Roth. I like Hostel. I like Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
Shit,
you know
I
Cabin
haven't
in the
seen.
Woods?
I
What did
haven't
he do?
seen
He didn't do Cabin in the Woods.
Thanksgiving did really well though.
I heard and I missed it.
He did
Oh,
Cabin
maybe
in the
that's
Woods.
the one I was thinking of. That they were all like, "This one did great," and I
He
was
did
like,
do
"Oh."
Cabin in
Yeah.
the Woods. I said he did.
Cabin in the Woods was his most recent outside of this one.
Cabin in the Woods. He did in like 2000. Thanksgiving is his most recent outside. Of
Yeah.
What?
I meant Thanksgiving. Sorry.
I see
Um,
Cabin
Wait.
in the Woods. That one's pretty good.
No, not Cabin in the Woods. I'm sorry. Fuck. What is it called?
Cabin Fever.
Thank you, Cabin Fever.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm about to say he didn't because Cabin in the Woods is fucking Joss Whedon.
That's Josh Whedon. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm
That
sorry.
asshole. That's
So Cabin Fever.
I hate that man. That bald-headed bastard.
I still like Cabin in the Woods though. But I'm
Yes, I
talking
do.
about Cabin Fever. All right, I like that one.
Okay.
Too. All right, thank you.
Was-
So like the man can make solid
Beast.
movies, and I like his style. He's very grimy. He can make stuff on a short budget. I think he's a good filmmaker, but he clearly has a window, a little box, let's say, that he needs to be in. I don't think this is it. If this would have been rated R, and I'm not convinced that there isn't a date where we find out that there is an R-rated cut of this movie. But if this was rated R, I think we have a different discussion. I can't say that the story is better, but I think you might have had a better time if people's brains were getting blown out in this movie.
Apparently, this was supposed to. I think they were going
There it
with
is.
that. But
Yeah.
the stunt coordinator of the film stated that scenes depicting heads getting blown up and
Mhm.
get feet being cut off were cut to maintain a 13 rating for some reason. Why did
Yeah,
that go
well,
13?
They
And
wanted
I'll
to focus more on the kids.
What?
They wanted to get the younger audience to be able to come in, so there's like all the blood is gone.
I just want
Mhm.
to point out that one of the producers of this movie is Ari Arad, son of Avi Arad, and it already says right here that both the father and son duo were producers of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody know Avi Arad?
I do.
Has anybody watched Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Oh,
I
Venom?
love that movie.
Any of these
Yeah,
movies?
I like that movie.
I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying if you got a problem with anything that's going on in the Spider-Man franchise, it's probably because of Avi Arad.
Well,
The man
hold on.
makes really weird choices with his stuff. I don't know why he does it, and I didn't even know that he was had moved on from the Sony Marvel stuff. But yeah, he's branching out. He did Ghost in the Shell, Uncharted, now this. So if his name's attached to it, there's probably gonna be something you don't like. That's all I'm saying.
Excuse me, but the Spider-Verse movies are some of the best things ever made.
I doubt that has to do with him. He's probably in name
But he
only.
is on.
Much
He
like
is
I
still
think
on him.
Gearbox and 2K are listed on this, just in name only.
Okay, but Avi is on Blade, X-Men, Blade 2, the OG Spider-Man. Anyone. I'm just gonna list those movies because I'm actually surprised to see how he worked on. Daredevil, 2003 Hulk, underrated. X2, my favorite X-Men movie. Punisher, Spider-Man 2, Blade Trinity, Elektra, Fantastic Four. We can talk about that.
So I will just point out that he started out with the New Line and 20th Century Fox Marvel movies, where he's not the only producer. That man had the reins on Spider-Man from Tobey Maguire up to Andrew Garfield. 2 mixed results.
Yeah, it was still.
And he ushered in the Venom series. Now I get it, you like them.
He
But
also
I have my issues.
But he also ushered in Iron Man 1, the beginning of something that was once great to something a little I'm sick of.
I
And
think
also
that's
the
got more to do with Kevin Feige than it does Avi Arad.
We at least got to give the man his props. He worked on stuff.
I cannot give you props just because you happen to be in the room. It's like I'm saying with the trailer. I can't give you props when you got a fucking slam dunk. Wow, you walked in, you put it in the net.
Are you gonna sit here?
It was so easy.
Are you gonna sit here and act like you know everything Avi does behind the scenes? He can probably put out some bad shit and also some good shit. Everyone's capable of doing that.
About. He's got Spider-Man 1 and 2, certified classic. You got Spider-Man 3, it's a cult classic now. We got the Amazing Spider-Man, we shit all over those. Venom, fuck that shit.
Okay, first of all, we are not gonna shit over the Amazing Spider-Man because those films are still good, if you ask me.
I said they were okay.
And Spider-Man 3 is not a cult classic. That film was great from the beginning. I don't want to hear it.
Anyway, I just bring all this up to say, like, the decision making in this movie and the things that they decide to do makes sense now that I know who the fuck is involved.
Also, we might have a problem here because I'm looking at his to-be-announced movies. Of course, he's got Beyond the Spider-Verse, which I'm excited for.
Yeah.
But first of all, we've got an untitled Legend of Zelda film coming.
No.
Yeah.
And why does
Yeah.
it say? Hold on. I already hate this because I didn't like it in the first place, even though it had some good stuff. But why is Naruto here?
As a movie?
Yeah.
Like it's on his shit?
Oh god.
If you go to look at Avi Arad, go all the way down because you'll see Beyond the Spider-Verse, you'll see untitled Legend of Zelda film, and then you'll see Naruto.
All right, I'm going to bring it back to this review here in a second. But before we lose our minds, I would just like to say, as somebody who does have a credit on there right now in IMDb, anybody can log in and put on a credit. It's kind of like Wikipedia.
This is
Actually,
Wikipedia.
it's really hard now.
Well, there you go.
Just to let you know, it is really hard to do
I
it.
stand corrected.
You have to pay for premium now, guys.
But I will take anything on Wikipedia with just a pinch of salt. Just a pinch. Because all three of those projects that you mentioned, I've heard nothing. So.
Well, if you were on the last review, you would have heard something about Beyond the Spider-Verse,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
you would have.
I knew that was like that's a given. Again, I cannot give Avi Arad credit for being in the room when something awesome is happening.
Well, maybe he was a
No
part of
shit.
being something good, okay?
I give him credit for like being there. I give him, hey, it's tip of the cap to you, sir. You helped usher in fucking Marvel movies and superhero movies in general. But then you the fucking shitty ones.
Okay, anyone came all of that? Also, according to chat, Avi Arad focuses heavily on merchandisable properties.
Facts.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
That's why Venom's in the third one. Anyway, back to this.
So, reeling back into our Borderlands review, we've
Can I just
discussed.
give my hot take now, or do you have like another big thing that you want to talk about?
Pause.
Pausing.
No, I'm kidding.
Shut down.
So the biggest thing is that we've talked about cast, we've talked about pacing, we have already all kind of talked a little about the CGI and how it looks. Like we've talked about the scripting. I think we've kind of encompassed a good majority of the film. But before we get into Luke's bombshell of whatever he's going to say and our ratings, is there anything really important to you guys that you want to discuss? Any notes we haven't hit on that you want to talk about?
Without going into spoilers, the story is very also basic in a cliche, not good way, I guess you can say. Well,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll say this, actually, when I think about it, because after I came home from watching this film, I put on another YouTuber to talk about Aquaman, which is, like, if y'all seen Aquaman, that movie rips off a lot of stuff you've seen before. But then I remember, but sometimes simple and ripoffs can still be charming with a different coat of paint on it.
Sure.
Like, hell, me and Morgan, I think, are the biggest Avatar James Cameron fans here. And that movie is so simple. Yeah,
Love it.
fuck you too.
Sometimes it's really you can have a good simple storyline. It's more about what do you do with that simple storyline. What do you do to elevate it or to make it engaging and entertaining? And
This film does not do any of that, unfortunately.
yeah,
This is a storyline I've seen before. I'm sorry, Morgan. I've
No,
seen
you're
many
okay.
times before, and I'm just like, okay, lame. I pulled a Morgan. Okay, I see where this is going now. Yeah, I first saw something. It was like, oh, we're doing that. You know what? I'm only happy this happened because fuck you, Tina. Okay.
So no spoilers, or can I spoil?
It's
You know
over
what?
streaming. Spoiler.
Exactly. So technically, it's already been out for
Okay.
3 months.
Okay, good. Because I wanted to make sure before I
Go
shit
for it.
all over this whole thing.
it's available for in 9 days for people.
Yeah, you can watch the crap that is called Borderlands movie.
You're gonna see a spike, and you guys could be like, "How the fuck is this number one?" And I'm gonna be like, "I
know.
told you."
No,
It's 'cause
I
nobody wanted to put their
I
money
said
on it.
I totally get your
That's why I waited for
understanding of
$5.
this. I did say that, okay? But the one thing that really irritates me about this movie is
Grinds your gears.
okay, I know you hate Tiny Tina, Dreaded. I get it. I don't like Tiny Tina either. But the thing that does not make sense to me at all is she talks about how she is made. And that does not make sense to me one bit. We have never heard in her backstory ever that she was made, created, any of that stuff. We know her family, her parents were killed. And we get to meet the guy who kills him, that killed her parents, and murder him for funsies because she wanted revenge. That is a complete left ball. I don't know where the fuck we went kind of situation.
I know where that came from.
Oh.
It's an
ahead.
adaptation.
I understand. I understand this is an adaptation, but like I said, Eloth came out and said, "Hey, man, you're gonna be characters you've never seen before." Bullshit. We've seen these characters, and it's stupid.
It's just Toad and Yoshi from the Super Mario Brothers movie in the '90s all over again.
The other thing that's just really irritating to me too is the fact of like I said, Lilith is a siren. And the fact that she doesn't know that she's a siren, and then she's like,
that
"I'm
was
the
surprising
fire-"
to me.
Yeah, that was very confusing because she, in the games, according to lore, she knows she's a siren. She doesn't know that she's the Firehawk. So just because you're because she knows she's a siren doesn't mean that she automatically knows she's a Firehawk. The fact that she has to learn that she's a siren later to find out that she's a Firehawk doesn't make any sense. And then I don't know about you, Morgan, but I was screaming for her to freaking phase walk left and right 24/7 on the stupid screen.
Absolutely.
And I didn't understand that. And then the fact that they were confusing, trying to manipulate us is what I like to call it, between Tiny Tina being a siren and Lilith being the siren was very confusing to me because she's like, "I can open the key because I'm an Iridian." And I'm like, "No, that doesn't make sense. You're not." And then they were like, "Oh, she phase walked." And I'm like, no, she didn't. Why is that confusing? I just feel like they didn't take at least to heart what the characters are. I don't care if you want to change the story. Fine. You want to change the story and adapt the story, don't change who the characters are. That's the part that really irritates me because we know these characters and you can't say these are characters you never met before. Bullshit. We have seen them. We have learned to love them. We have learned to hate them. We've learned to be annoyed by them. We've learned to adapt with them and everything else, and we've been through their pain and their sorrow. So this is just not cutting it for a storyline purpose, and it makes no sense overall. And then the fact that the big screw up still that pisses me off is Crom being mouthpiece does not compute. Which, if you guys don't know what Crom is supposed to look like, go look him up and then look at what they did in the movie, and you'll be like, that's not the same character at all.
Yeah, so you didn't meet. He told you.
But they literally put him in a costume that's not him. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And then call him somebody else. I'm like, no. Every gamer's going, what the fuck?
It'd be like kind of keeping with the Mario Brothers analogy. You have a green-shelled Koopa Troopa and naming it Chemic. It don't mesh.
So, Luke, what's your hot take? I'm excited to hear this too.
So first off, let me just say that your guys' pain just like fills me with so much joy because I love seeing the shoe being on the other foot, right? Been through this. Signed Dragon Ball fans, signed Avatar Last Airbender fans, signed fucking Cowboy Bebop fans. I can keep going. The thing that I really don't understand that when movies do this, and just let me get the negative out of the way right now. The thing I don't understand when people do this stuff with their adaptations is like, why do you put so much time and effort into try and make these actors and the surroundings look like the thing if you're not going to give me the thing? I don't understand it. So I totally get where you're coming from with that. Story is very basic. I understand that. All these characters are way too fucking old to play these characters. but I still think they did a good job. That being said, I actually had a good time with this movie, but I had a good time because I went in with no expectations and I saw it for $5. I'm gonna be completely honest. My bar was way the fuck down here, and I was like, I saw this on the cheap. I don't care. You can show me whatever. I didn't hate what they did, basic or not. I thought they did enough to kind of distance themselves from the copy and paste shit. I really enjoyed some of the action sequences. I enjoyed most of the CGI. There's definitely some shit, particularly with Tiny Tina throwing the fucking stuffed animals in the one scene. Like, it just looked bad. But then there were other stuff where I was like, that actually looks pretty good. I don't know why Eli Roth agreed to do this unless he was able to make a rated R version. So again, don't be surprised if we end up hearing more about there actually is a rated R version coming out. But I think that everybody is just being a little too harsh on this movie. Is it good? No. Is it that bad? No. Fuck no, it's not. Absolutely not. I have seen some of the worst fucking movies you can imagine. Is this one of them? No. The criteria that I have for if a movie is bad, and I mean like bad, is like, how are the jokes? And this movie came really fucking close because it has the pee joke and it has the poop joke. That is like the most basic, easiest shit that you can do. It's like a jump scare in a horror movie that has nothing to do with the movie. But being that there were only two, and I still enjoyed everything else, besides, I mean, Krieg has his lines, but there's really nothing there.
Mhm.
Roland should have been played by somebody else, but Kevin Hart, I believe, is doing like the best that he can with the stuff because I think my theory is correct. This is the only time he's going to get to do something like this, so he tried to make the best of it. Kate Blanchett, I don't know if she's having a good time or not, but like, I don't think she's bad really in anything. She's like probably one of the best actresses working out there right now, along with Jamie Lee Curtis. They are not these characters, but whatever. They did what they could do, and I found it to be kind of entertaining. Mostly what I'm hanging on is the fact that there are some funny jokes and the action sequences are good, and they went out of their way to try and actually make the thing look like the thing. I agree with you guys, though. They dropped the ball, but this is not the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. Everybody is way off by just shitting on this movie. Everybody needs to take a breath. I get it if, like, as a gamer you're upset, but, like, I hate to tell you this. They didn't make this for you. They made this for me. Somebody that doesn't have any idea what's going on. Somebody that could just sit down and, like, enjoy it. I think it's a bad idea to do that because you guys got on the internet and just tore it to shreds. Like, the reason why it's going to streaming is because of you guys. However, not the worst thing I've seen. Had a good time with it. Bad, but in a good way.
What's up, Dreaded?
I completely get where you're coming from because I never did mention this. I don't like this movie either. But again, I'm with you, Luke. This is not the worst thing I've seen.
No.
Because
I
like
do agree with
you,
that.
very low expectations. I heard the reception. I was like, oh God, why? I don't care about Borderlands. I was like, whatever. So when your expectations are that low, I guess you're just like, all right. Now, here's the thing. I probably don't like it as much as you do, Luke, because I'm not going to lie. There was a point where I was like, I was kind of falling asleep. I was ready to fall asleep. I was in that parking lot. I was like, I got to wake up before I start driving. Otherwise, I might kill somebody. But, again, like, it's not good.
No.
I don't have a lot of good things to say about it, but I've seen worse, and that's why this rating was good. Actually, when I was thinking about it, I was like, this is a hard rating because here's the thing. I know what movie I already like better than this, but there's another movie. There's two movies I'm trying to compare this with. Like, okay, what do I hate more? Like, which one of these do I hate more, actually? But again, like I said, I will give this that Kevin Hart and Jack Black, like I said, the two people in this film that made this bearable for me. And like, okay, they're in it good enough. So hearing their lines, which I'm like, okay, chuckle. Never like a full-blown laugh, or maybe one out loud laugh, just because like, okay, that was funny, I guess.
Yeah,
But
like him shooting out the bullets made me laugh, but then I was like, come on, this is what we're doing?
I rolled my eyes like, really?
Yeah.
Some of his dialogue before he got shot by all those crazies, actually, I was like, okay, that's actually funny. I still stand by Kevin Hart. Oh wait, I forgot there was a giant monster in this movie, so that got a little bit of a plus.
Yeah, the fucking pea monster. Thank you.
That was
Nice
a
to see you.
throusher, by the way.
And it pees a lot, so
I was
that
happy
was my
about
By the way,
takeaway.
that was a feeling thresher, which was even cooler.
I like giant monsters, so that's a plus, I guess. But
Yep.
everyone else just feels bored and doesn't want to be in here. Especially, I never really talked about how I felt about Kate Blanchett actually, because I couldn't tell if like she was bored playing the straight woman or just trying to play the straight woman and maybe not coming off as well. But I'm going with my first one. Yeah, she's supposed to be dead. I think she's playing a straight one, but at the same time, like, you can play a straight pan and still be entertaining. You just, for me, weren't. I just feel like you didn't care to be here. But I don't know if that's in her performance or that's actually, like, if it was intentional. I don't know. But again, I've seen movies that I genuinely hated more than this, but this still wasn't good.
So I went into it because when I went and saw the movie, it had, I think, a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked out of it going, this is not a 6. You guys are out of your mind. Like, there are movies that deserve 6 and lower. Like, this isn't it. I understand the outrage. I promise you. But, like, it ain't a fucking 6%, man. Like, you guys went a little overboard with that. Like, fucking bombed it or something. But, again, still not good. I just want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily defending this movie, but I can have a good time with this movie. This is definitely a movie where when I'm fucked up and it's on, I'm good.
I feel like this is just a movie I'm going to watch once and probably never come back to because it's not important. But it's not, again, it's not the worst thing I've seen.
Yeah, Morgan, the little things are Borderlands.
The little things is still lower.
I will say,
Anthony, Chaos Walking or Borderlands?
Oh, Chaos Walking.
Okay, see.
Okay, yeah, I
can keep doing it, but I mean, like,
no, I need to understand something because I admit that movie is not very good, but I low key like Chaos Walking. I low key like it.
I love you.
Listen, let me explain what. Hold on, let me explain what low key means.
Go.
I admit that movie is not good. It has problems, but I'm like,
girl. Oh my god, girl. What girl?
It has some interesting ideas.
Focus one or this one?
No, but Luke, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something that I definitely hate more than Borderlands that we reviewed here. Texas Chainsaw 2022 and Morbius. I hate those way more.
Yeah,
I do not ever want to. Okay, wait. I might watch Morbius again for the meme, but I really don't want to watch those movies again. I don't want to watch No One Will Save You ever again.
Oh, come on, dude. That movie's... Yeah, fucking hater.
Wait, I have a big question now. This or Reminiscence? I think they're in the same... No, they're not.
No, I'm taking this.
Actually, I lied. Wait, oh, God! Oh, God, this is hard! I don't know!
So, I guess I'm coming at a different perspective, too, because I do consider myself a filmmaker. This shit's hard. It's really fucking hard. So, when a movie comes out, good, bad, or indifferent, and just to see it just get like completely crapped on, I just go like, is it really that bad? And then from a movie aspect, I'd be like, no. From a game aspect, if I was into the lore like you guys are, I get it. I do get it. But I'm just taking this as just a straight movie, and like it's not a slight against God to me. It's bad, but it ain't like fucking Pitchfork's bad.
Well, I guess I gotta disagree sort of because I did not like the filmmaking in a lot of places here. But go ahead, Morgan.
I didn't feel. You know what? That's a lie. And I had to think about it. And listening to you guys talk about it, there are some really quick jump cuts where it's like, wait, what? What did we just do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just like this 2 seconds of this, and now I'm all right. That's fine. But overall, and it's because it's fucking basic. I was like, I could pop it on.
I just want to say the majority of my I do have a little bit of Borderlands knowledge, but still. The majority of my thoughts is comparing it, like, the actors to themselves, like, to each other, not to the games. Like, I do think there is good acting in here, but they weren't either in the right role or they weren't given the right material to act it well, like, to do more with it. Or there wasn't given enough time. I
have no problems admitting that.
There is things in here that are good, but there's a lot of bad that outshines anything that is good. That is where I'm at. Like I think there is a lot of very simple storytelling in here, especially visually. And I think that's where its downfall is because this could have been better, even with it being the adaptation that it is, and it just wasn't given the love and the attention that it really needed. They just wanted to. They had this announcement. They had the stack cast signed up. And they wanted to get it out and make money. And look at it now. They're not making money. So
yeah, it feels like too many cooks in the kitchen. And
100%.
again, if you're gonna do that, then why even like just make a movie that people can go, oh, that reminds me of Borderlands, instead of calling it Borderlands. It'll probably go over a lot better too. Like, what the fuck is the point of calling it Borderlands and going out of your way to make it look like the fucking thing, and then you don't give me the thing?
Mhm.
I've never understood it, and I never will. It's so weird that they do shit like that.
So, Kitty and Dan, is there any additional thoughts and opinions that you want to put out there before we get into rating this film?
I'm gonna let Dan go first.
I think
Dan?
Noob.
the overall with everything that's been said tonight, yes, they could have done better with better material, and I did kind of look at this movie a lot from as I've been thinking about it and preparing to like come out and talk tonight about it, is the script writing for it. I feel like they could have done better with a completely different like plot device for it. Like, you could still have
Sure.
like Tiny Tina being like, like even if it was just like Atlas was like lying to Tina the entire time, saying that she was special, and Lilith coming in, hiding the fact that she's a siren, and like having like that as the reveal in like the last 10 minutes of the film, which was the entirety of the like final battle, defeating the bad guy, resolution, and denouement, all happening in like 10 or 15 minutes at most. It just felt like that was just too rushed. If they would have had a little bit more expansion of that, like if the final confrontation ended up being 25 minutes of like the entire conflict, the resolution, and the aftermath for it, give us like a little bit of context after everything that happened in the vault, would have been a lot nicer, and I felt would have flowed better for it. Like you were saying earlier, where it's like there's some stuff that was like, if they would have had just like some more scenes and little bits, it probably would have been better. But I feel overall, if they would have had a script that included more of the elements of the original characters, even if it was stuff that they were hiding or just alluded to, it probably would have been enough to where the people who don't know anything about the film or anything about the games could have gotten a little bit of a lore drop, but not had need to like sit through an expose about it or exposition about it, and enough for the people that are fans of the series to be able to like, oh yeah, they did make a reference to that. That was nice.
Quick question for the gamers in the room.
Mhm.
Let's say this movie kind of plays out the same way, but instead of Lilith and Tiny Tina and the characters being the focal point, because I played 2, it's new
Mhm.
characters, and these
Yep.
mainstays are just on the outside. If that's how the movie goes, do you think that works a little bit better?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they could have even just been like, hey, these are 4 completely brand new characters, have never been in any part of the lore. They have their own completely unique stories. And then at some point they are like, oh, we need to meet up with a contact. And the contact is Tanis, who gives them information. And then they encounter Claptrap and they have like a bar fight with Roland and Lilith.
Like that
stuff
would have
like
been
that
really
would have
cool.
been.
It would have gave the feel of like how D&D was, where you felt like you were seeing characters that were just like people that were playing classes, as opposed to these characters that have specific backgrounds already built into them. That would have been fun. Yeah.
I can see that.
Very nice.
Expand on the world as opposed to try and reshape the one that's already there.
Sure.
Right.
I think the adaptations might want to do that more often, actually.
Or just be better.
That too.
I think
Both?
I think also, so even if they stuck with the cast that they had, which was fine, I think the disconnects of them not really knowing each other is really frustrating for somebody who has seen these characters interact a lot. And so I feel like if they just tweak the story to be more like Lilith has like, either she just hasn't had enough iridium and therefore she can't use her powers, and that's why she's having this issue that we don't see her, like, just like the struggles, like if we saw struggles, or like Roland is like doesn't do anything yet with his his turret, but then all of a sudden we see him do that. I just think those little added aspects would have helped a little bit better. And I think if we tweak the story to be less of like this, I don't know what we were trying to tell here, really, to be honest. But if we tweak the story to be more of the struggle of Lilith and how she's like, I'm a siren, but I can't use my powers, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and then she becomes Firehawk. I feel like that would have been a better understanding for us gamers as a whole than this whole like, we're just gonna pretend like Tiny Tina is this creation and she's the promised child, and you're like, I don't understand because she's a demolitionist, and so that doesn't make any sense to me. And so I think there just needed to be a different angle to it. That doesn't mean that everything else in the movie as a whole didn't need fixing. It still does. There's still issues there, but I think if we fix the storyline, at least this way it gives gamers and people like you, Luke, or Dreaded, or even Morgan, who have little to no knowledge, a little bit of better understanding of why it fits. Because I understand for you guys, like, yeah, you're going into it, you're like, this isn't that bad. And I get that. But like, and like you said, Luke, you have like your, pieces where it's like, I saw this movie and I was like, and I know you understand, but I can see from a standpoint of somebody who goes into this completely blind, has no idea, and you're like, oh, that's a cool concept. I like that. I get that. And I read a whole bunch of people that a lot of the positive reviews were from people who have never played the game or have no knowledge or anything about what this is. And then it's the vice versa, where you have everybody who has a whole bunch of knowledge and they're like, what did they do to my life? But if we just made those tiny tweaks here and there, I feel like we could have made at least a decent film that both parties would have enjoyed.
Well, that's the balance that you want, right?
Right, and we didn't think that through at all.
It's pretty fucking telling that we're sitting here in 2024 and still comparing shit to the 90s Mario movie. Like that shouldn't be a thing anymore. We should be past that. Like, why does somebody still get the bright idea to go, hey, just gonna take that name and we're gonna slap some shit on it? Like,
yeah.
Why do we still think that is a good idea?
Considering if they actually looked at the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie from last year, and even the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, you would think, let's be a bit more faithful.
And those still do. It's the balance, right? Those are really good at giving me the stuff from the games, giving me imagery that I'm familiar with, but it's also a story that I don't know where this is going.
Right. And
it does kind of make me wonder when the script was actually finalized, because I actually looked it up earlier tonight. This movie's been in pre-production since 2015 when they announced it. So it's 9 years. At what point did they finalize?
And the thing about that to really the thing about that to really look into is how long do they actually have the rights for this thing? Because a lot of times what'll happen is they're getting close to losing him. So instead of really giving us something thought out, if it's been in pre-production for 10 plus years, it's like, fuck it, just do it. Because if they put the movie out, they keep the rights.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, there's one thing that you said earlier, Luke, where you said this movie isn't made for you guys, the gamers. It is made for someone like you. And I fucking despise that. And that's something we see a lot. Or everybody, even filmmakers come out, oh, this isn't made for the Halo fans, the diehards. This is made for, to bring in, a new people, audience. A new audience. It's like, fuck you. Your initial audience is going to be those fans.
Mm-hmm.
You need to cater to those fans. And not oh, I need to cater to them so I can't do my cool creative vision. But you still need to understand, the only reason you are going to have an initial viewer base, or at least as big of a viewer base as it's going to be, is because you have a fan base already around a franchise. And you should, and I wish more creators would take time to think about that fan base rather than, I'm going to bring in a new audience.
And you have to look at it too, because Halo or this or even Mario and
or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, all those. Anybody that grew up with it or is a fan of it is going to sit there and say, "Oh my god, they're making something that I'm super excited about that is, behind it." And then it's going to tell people that maybe don't know it. And that's going to bring in that extra person.
Exactly. So, because think about it, there could be people who don't know what Borderlands is and be like, you know what? I really like this. Let's go play the games. For me, I watch movies or shows, and I'm like, I really like this. I want to read the books they're based off of.
Well, I don't understand how that gets lost in translation too, because we play Halo, we play Borderlands, we play BioShock, we play whatever. Good gameplay, and that's really, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're in it for the gameplay, but like the stories are good.
Mm-hmm.
The stories are really good. They're really involved. There's a lot of lore. We're not just here to play for the gameplay. That's what like Call of Duty is for. I play a Halo or a Borderlands or anything like this. Like I want the story too. So yeah, I'm not playing it, but the story doesn't change. You just streamline it. That shouldn't be an issue. It should translate just fine. But we still make the mistake of that's already there, or it's not going to translate, so I'll do whatever I want. No, it will translate. You just need to like give it a shot.
I mean, they did that with Tomb Raider. They did that with The Last of Us. They translated perfectly with it. It was funny because I was like, I literally could just watch the video game. I mean, no offense, but
No.
I was like, that's pretty cool though that they at least did a 1-for-1.
Mm-hmm.
There is no 1-for-1. I will say the other thing though that I want to bring up real fast though is the creatures though. I didn't feel like we got enough of them, and
Or the
that's
guns.
or the guns. I did
Yes.
really think like Lilith's gun was really cool. You actually did see the barrel turn like it's supposed to, and I was like, that was pretty cool. But Latin did bring up a bit ago in chat. I was reading while you guys were on tangents and stuff, but that's fine. She didn't have an elemental gun, and that's something that she's known for. She's known for using elemental guns because that's what she is, right? She's all about elemental. But the fact that we only saw like two skag, one rack fly down and eat a skag, I was like, okay. And then we saw the feeling thresher. I was like, that's all we get? Like, I was like, where's the struggle? I'm like, no offense, I know this is based off of video game and all that stuff, but I'm just sitting here going, I freaking sit there all the time with Dan, and I'm like, we're getting swarmed. Can we please move on? There's so many here. This really sucks.
That's where that budget goes, man. And Anthony's probably right on the money. Yeah, it's 120 million, but who's to say 100 of that didn't just go to the actors?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I get that. I do understand that, but I'm just saying from like, I was like, oh, it feels like there's like nothing in Pandora.
No, but that's more of a reason. That's more of a reason not to keep talking about it, but I mean it's pretty important. That's more of a reason to just have faith in the property. I don't need Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't need Cate Blanchett. I don't need Kevin Hart. I don't need Jack Black. Find me unknowns. Find me nobodies. Pay them. I'm just kidding about this when I say this, but pay them $10 and put your budget money to more guns, more creatures, and a better story. Instead, I got a stacked cast and not that great of a story.
Because if you think about it too, with this being filmed during COVID, the actors themselves could have put more restrictions on timeline of when they could have filmed. We're in the heat of COVID, so we want to wait, a few months to a year and let it cool down a little bit before we go back out in the field and act again. Jack Black was never even there in person. He never was once there. Jamie Lee Curtis is talking while they're trudging through like the tunnel and shit, being like, "Where the fuck are you, asshole?" And he's like, "I'll see you on the red carpet. Enjoy yourself." Like, he was in a sound booth the entire time and never was out on set.
Oh.
Which makes sense now, hearing the voice actress for Angel, knowing you have to quarantine for a whole week or two, then to even be able to be allowed to go on set. Like, there's part of me wonders how much better this film could have been if it wasn't in production during COVID. I don't think that it would have been a whole lot better just because of the storyline and the script that we have.
Another unfortunate part about this too is whoever is in charge has a vision in their head. So the fact that this has been in production for 15 years just shows somebody came in, had a vision, didn't line up. No, thank you. Another person comes in, has a vision, doesn't line up. No, thank you. And then we finally get to the point to where they obviously were able to agree, and you get Eli Roth as your director because he probably needs to do something with a little bit more cachet instead of low budget horror. You pay out of the ass for these actors because everybody knows the story isn't very good, and you get what you get. But again, in 2024, it is unacceptable. So I do feel for you guys in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
I also did want to bring this up too before we move on because I've been holding this in the entire time.
Yeah.
But sometimes even bad adaptations can still lead people to the good adaptations, and they become diehard fans of said thing.
Sure. Or they can get new sequels like Venom.
Or you can become like me, who eventually loved Godzilla because of '98's Godzilla.
That did get a sequel though. Everybody learned after that. Give it back to the Japanese right now.
It did get a sequel series, which actually I heard was pretty good.
I have heard as well.
Yeah,
I
I
was
just
also trying to. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to think while you guys were talking. Like, are there any other? Can we think of any adaptations that came out that maybe it was their first exposure to said property, and then you went to the source material? Like, what was I thinking? Liking this actually?
The only story I have like that is when I got a good chunk of my friends in high school into Dragon Ball
Actually,
by
yes.
showing them TFS.
Twilight.
Oh,
Twilight. The
Twilight
source
was bad all around.
the source material, like I kind of liked it. The movie and the books are so much better. I'm not saying the books are great, but they're way better than the movies.
I'm so disappointed in you right now.
Mama.
It's fine.
So
I
I,
was in
I
middle
don't know
school.
how to. I don't really think I could say yet because the movie hasn't come out, but I know that the play has done really well, based on the book. But I haven't seen the play either for Wicked. I'm interested to see how, because I've read the book, I own the book. It's a fabulous story, but I am very interested to see how that plays out overall, for an adaptation. But we could say from another adaptation that we've probably all had to do in lovely school was probably to read Kill a Mockingbird that was adapted into a movie. I did a lot of
Peck, right?
I think so.
Yeah, older
But
movie.
that one wasn't actually a terrible adaptation. I also did I had to read Emma, and then I saw the movie Emma. That was a terrible adaptation.
Is that the one about the old Japanese lady?
No, that's a Renaissance like old English
You
thing.
know,
Yeah.
I have a better
we
one
did
for you
Troy
than
in my high
Twilight.
school.
I have a way better one than Twilight, and that is Aragon. I really liked the movie because I had no idea what the source material was. So I got the book and I was reading it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shitty movie?
Yeah, okay. I'll go out on a limb then, and I'll say Harry Potter. Not that I've actually been able to. The closest I got to finishing a book was the fourth one, but I borrowed it. I had to give it back. But that book was way better than the movie.
Oh yeah,
I actually,
especially the fourth.
Yeah.
But I like both of those equally.
But
kinda.
that's the
love the
thing.
movies,
I
don't
love
get
the
me wrong, I love the
movies,
movies.
but the
Mhm.
books are better. But
Charlie
I
and the
love
Chocolate
them.
Factory
I
has
love them for
actually
different
adapted
reasons.
in a good way. I can say that. It started off like the old school one, give it props. The middle one, the newest one, pretty good. From an
Wonka?
adaptation. Yeah, I
Oh,
like I like how
that-
it's the adaptation of what he is based on no actual story, which is kind of fun.
That's gonna be a different show that we might need you to bring back to come back on because I watched half of the new Wonka and I have thoughts. So
Okay, I could
I'm
could
just saying,
come
I
back
can
whenever.
finish that. I'm just saying. Now that you brought it up, other than that, I mean, I don't know. I guess Tom Holland's Spider-Man gave me a new appreciation for the comic books.
For anybody who
wanna talk
isn't
about
aware,
it.
he's hating on Tom Holland's right now.
I don't like Tom Holland's Spider-Man that much. I really don't.
That's
Although I will say this, I feel like I hate it a little less now.
Well, No Way Home.
No, not even because of No Way Home. Not even because of that.
No Way Home brought it home for me. Let me just say,
Oh.
like, I'm on board now. I definitely want to see where this goes. But before that, I was like, get this off my fucking screen right now. I can't stand it.
I love the fact that that was the best pun.
Wait,
going
okay.
around.
I finally thought about it. Luke, you're gonna be happy. I promise you're gonna be happy about this. Going to some other sources of Venom really has made me kind of reconsider Tom Hardy Venom. I will not lie. You know what's funny enough? It wasn't even fully comics. It was Tony Todd. Tony Todd made me kind of hate Tom Hardy.
Yeah, dude. And that's a completely out of left field adaptation as well. And like that works.
To a
works better
degree,
than
yeah.
Tom Hardy. Whatever.
So,
anyway, we
everybody,
can score whenever you want.
are we
Morgan,
ready
if you
to?
want,
Are we ready to score?
Yeah, I think we are.
No,
Wait,
let's have our
well,
adaptations.
Well, last thing I'll say before then, because we're talking about adaptations of anything, I want my Dead Space movie. I would like a Dead Space movie.
That would be really
that needs
cool.
100%
we're gonna do
to be
Hunt
R-rated.
Showdown.
Yes, we are.
That needs to be R-rated. They
R-rated.
the right
good-
person,
oh.
the right people need to be on that doing Dead Space. Like I will.
I already know what the trailer needs to be.
Destroy
it just has to be
people.
Twinkle. It just has to be Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with some horror moments in it. If you've ever seen those OG trailers for the old game and
Yeah.
even the remake,
I know
I
what
would
you're
like
talking
to
about.
see. I would like to see Fade adapt that. That'd be cool.
One of the biggest ones, aside from Dead Space, I don't want it as a movie. I want it as a series. Is Destiny.
I know you were gonna say it. I knew it was gonna be Destiny.
Like deep lore, all of it. The lore that we've never seen in game, everything.
I don't know, man. If it's anything like we've seen lately, you're gonna get Destiny by way
Daniel,
of the Halo
A
show.
Rocket League movie?
Oh my god!
Honestly, that
Yo,
could be
Hold
sick.
on. Is it bad that I actually thought of that before?
Anybody
I
seen
actually-
Zoids? That'd be dope.
I actually thought of a Rocket League movie
Thank you,
before.
Dan.
Like,
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
I have to ask, year zero or Chaotic Century?
Zero. I don't think I watched too much Chaotic Century. That's the second one, right?
I believe Chaotic Century was BitCloud.
oh, how
Wasn't
can I
it? Or
forget
am I
this?
getting them backwards?
I can't remember. Whichever the first show is, that's the one I saw.
Last thing I want
And
to see
then a little bit of
adapted,
the second one.
but still canon to the games. Make it all canon. Because I think we're overdue for this. I want either an Overwatch movie or show. Animated. It has to be animated. I don't want live action.
I think a show would be really cool.
Yes, there's
Overwatch is overrated.
You
I
know,
think
look,
would be really fun. Well,
I just
it's
got my
gonna-
car back. Okay?
Yeah, and it needs to go back in the shop. So what are you really threatening me with here? You're probably gonna
It's
break
just-
down as soon as you turn.
Oh
it on.
no, it doesn't actually need to.
Oh.
It just can because this is a fix I can do.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Bring it on, bitch.
I think what would be really cool to see as a TV show would be would actually be Diablo, because there's so much lore behind it.
That'd be a good
Just
one.
like your Destiny would be really cool, and
Yeah.
I think that would be like overall like the immersiveness of just these are the different types. But that one could be a little bit different because technically each character that you play doesn't really truly have a name because you name them, so they're like nameless. So it becomes almost like a D&D type situation. It's just class based, but it would be really fun.
Mhm.
I have my reservations. Like I really would love a Bioshock. I did it again. A Bioshock movie. I
That would be
really
really
would love. I really would love it. But the fact that this came out and did not do well, I think it's just gonna like all the
You're like-
plans.
You're like, I don't. Nope, it's okay.
Yep. And
Never mind. I did not speak it into existence. No.
Bye.
But I totally
Because-
agree with you. I think that would be really fun. Or if it was turned into like a TV series, that
Yeah.
would be really fun
What?
because it's got a lot of lore behind it,
What?
and it would be really cool.
Bioshock.
Bioshock.
Oh, okay.
Border
Luke,
shock.
I just
Bioshock.
want to say that the lore of Overwatch is actually really interesting.
I know.
Yeah, it is.
I just like.
Yeah,
to-
there's a lot of great lore games out there that could be really cool movies or TV series or even animated. You know, it's just picking and choosing the right ones and who do you put in it and who's leading it. And if you, unfortunately for this one, like
Just-
we had a flop.
Just,
Yeah.
just do it right. Now I gotta wonder if the fucking Ghost of Tsushima movie is gonna be any good. Like, just fucking do it right, man.
How? I mean, that game is basically already technically a movie. You're playing a movie. Oh my god!
Oh,
Why?
And now,
Why? Hold on. Why the fuck is Until Dawn getting a movie? Why the fuck is Until Dawn getting?
You
a
want to
movie?
know why
That
it's
is-
getting a movie? It's
Why is it
because
getting a movie?
it's easy to make.
if that's
No,
zombies.
they're not
Easy to
even- no,
make,
they're not
low
even-
budget.
They're not even following the LG game. They're new characters. I think a new story. You're playing a movie. Why do you need to make a movie? What? You defeat the purpose of what makes Until Dawn so
Okay,
unique.
time out.
Shut up! It's a choose your own adventure right there, okay? You can make who survives,
I'ma let
what
him go.
choices. You can learn how many different pieces of lore and stuff like that. Why the fuck would you make a movie and then not to mention like did you do this again? Are you doing the Borderlands treatment? You took you took the name, made something different, and then just admit like, hey, Until Dawn movie, come watch it. You got bitch. We have Until Dawn already. You don't have to make another adaptation of it. Okay? Now what were you gonna say, Luke?
So you're kinda, and KP did it too for a second. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if it comes out, you guys are gonna be like, you didn't have to do it. Like I already have it. But then if they don't do it, you're gonna be like, I want to see it on the fucking silver screen. So like, do you want the movie or not? Because I guarantee that at
Exactly,
some point
Dan.
that is a part of the logic that goes into them making these movies. It's like they already have that version. We don't want to just give them that. We're going to try and do something different. And then when they do something different, everybody goes, why did you do something different?
No, but we don't need Until Dawn on the silver screen at all. We really don't.
Okay, but
The
if that's
game
your,
is fine.
but if that's your logic, then every fucking video game plays like a movie. So what's the
Okay.
point of adapting any of them?
Because some games I feel are worth adapting in a different format. Until
Sure.
Dawn, in my opinion, it just isn't.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a zombie game, right?
No.
Okay. What is Until Dawn?
Until Dawn it's a teen horror game and it's Wendigo.
Is that okay? That's the anthology series shit, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the
Yeah.
first
Okay.
before all that started.
I mean,
But-
that's why, because they can just copy and paste, which honestly is something they should just do if they're gonna adapt the fucking game. Just copy and paste.
Yeah,
I don't care.
But
I
what
would
makes
rather
me-
listen to you guys be like, I've seen it already, instead of hearing this sucks.
Yeah,
But
but it's
like I
not
said-
because you're taking away what made Until Dawn interesting in the first place. Choose your own adventure. You get to learn different things depending on what you do, and you get to choose who you get to kill. I'm suggesting everyone kill Emily. because
KP,
fuck that
please
bitch.
talk immediately after me, all right? So I argue that that is the reason why you want to call this Until Dawn, because it is a choose your own adventure, and even though it's called Until Dawn, it can have its own story, and it'll work as long as it's horror. It's just got to be good. That's the other thing, too. Like, they have to be good. If you're going to call it this thing, make it good. Otherwise, everybody's going to lose their fucking minds.
But like I said,
Rightfully so.
it's that balance, you know, it's
Right.
that balance of being like this movie, Borderlands. Like I said, it's
No balance.
if they went a different route and they just tweaked the story, but they kept some elements that we all know, it would balance with both of us.
Yeah.
It's the issue is when they just take them and they go, "Oh, you guys want something new? Fine, we'll give you something new. Let me grab the spaghetti and throw it. Let's see where it sticks. Oh, look, Lilith has no powers and she can't do jack shit. That sounds great. Yeah, put it in the movie. You know, like that's the issues I'm having. Okay, but like these adaptations, fine. Some of them, yes. If you want to carbon copy it, do it. I mean, look at The Last of Us. Look at Tomb Raider. They're literally carbon copies. Fine. I don't care. They did well.
Those
People loved it.
work. Those
But
work.
it
because
worked.
It's
No,
a
no,
single
I'm not
story.
saying it didn't work. I'm saying that's great. They worked. They brought people who never played those video games into that lore. Good. Five Nights at Freddy's, Borderlands. They didn't really do it for us. And you're a huge fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's. You love the books. I love the video games. You know the video games. And we were like, what the fuck did they do? You know? There's no balance.
So, damn it, I forgot what my question was, but it was a good one.
Thank you, Rob. That's what I was trying to say earlier.
It was really good.
So a question to all of you that Salty Snickers or Dan has asked in chat: would Borderlands been a better movie if it was animated? Dan, you said probably. I'm just, quick answers. What does everybody think? I think it would be.
Are we saying if this specific movie was animated? Like if we got was an animated movie?
That's what I was gonna say. Is that he said, Anthony made the point to say that basically The Last of Us and like what was the other one? Tomb Raider are like basically made for the big screen. Like they just work, right? Borderlands should work too. There's no reason why it shouldn't work. The only reason it doesn't work is because the people in charge don't know what the fuck they're doing. But it should work. Every story, every video game story should work. That's why we play them. That's why we love them. Because the stories are awesome. They should work. They should translate. It's just whoever the
But
fuck
it's that
makes these-
balance. It's the
Well,
balance
right,
we're missing.
but the fucking whoever's in charge just goes, fuck it.
Like I said, throw the spaghetti on the
Yeah,
wall and
yeah.
see what we get.
Well,
To
that's
answer the
weird
que-
logic to have too. Is like because you already have the thing. You that's there. And then we're just gonna make our version. It's like no. If
To
you want to tweak it, just do it a little bit. Just a
Yeah.
little.
To answer the question, if this was
Fine tune.
animated, if we got this specific movie animated, actually, I'm with Dan. Maybe it would have.
I think
There's
so.
a lot of the issues. There's a lot of issues I still have. That if it was animated, maybe I'd like it a little better. I mean, maybe the gamers will still be mad about it, but I feel like some of its other execution problems would be quote unquote fixed, and maybe we wouldn't hate it as much. Like you can kind of watch it as like a alt universe. Yeah, like think about it like an alt universe Borderlands, kind of like how I think about the 2021 Mortal Kombat alt universe Mortal Kombat.
I think that this absolutely would work animated, and I haven't watched the Cyberpunk show, but I feel like if it had that kind of art style and that kind of feel, it would absolutely.
See, it would keep us from hating on how much the characters don't look like the characters from the game. You could literally just have them look like how they look in the game. And Borderlands itself already has a really unique art style. It would be a nice touch to have that art style in the animation. That'd be really cool. People put in a lot of effort to even have that look in their cosplays. It would be a nice touch to see it animated and to have that unique art style. On top of that, like, you could then have these actors, if you really want, to be the voice actors, if you want them to be, because actors will have even more freedom when they're actually voice acting compared to having to worry about their physical emoting on the screen.
Go ahead, guys.
I would say yes. Just because we have Tales from the Borderlands, new Tales from the Borderlands, so we already have the kind of here's a story, even though you kind of play along with it kind of thing. I think that's something that would allure to a lot of gamers and to people that have never actually seen it. Plus, it's easier to add in the special effects in animation, I would think, over having to put a green screen in and then figure out all this other stuff. I think it would allude to a better experience.
Yeah. There's a lot less logistics
there.
going into animating things, a lot less crew, a lot less, oh, we need to light this, we need to have these people here. That's why we get so much more video games in a year than we do movies.
Right, exactly. So yes, I think if it was animated, I think it would only be that story didn't make sense. Like, I think that's what you would hear from us, as opposed to everything doesn't make sense, and I don't know what's going on. I think that would be better overall.
Okay.
Dan?
He said in chat.
Yeah. Oh.
He said probably in chat, so.
Yeah, I said, I kind of agree that it probably would have been, even if it wasn't considered like better, it would probably have been better received, because again, like you said, you could actually just take like the character models. You could still have the same cast and just have them do like the voice lines and everything for it. You could take out, like having to need like set pieces and everything like that. You could just take, you could almost take models directly from the original games and just readapt them for the screen. Even if you wanted to do like the city of Sanctuary and just be like, oh yeah, we'll just kind of like expand on the city, and you could still take some of the original like assets and the characters. Like, you could actually even have like Crazy Earl in the background, like yelling, "What do you want?" Like, you could have him like in there.
It's funny you say that, Dan, because Gearbox and 2K actually did a lot of pixel rendering for the CG of this. It's like, you guys are already fucking rendering pixels and everything else. Well, let's also use your assets. This is your franchise. This is the, not that this movie is the face of your company, but it's something you are putting out to as a face of your company. And, I don't get why, we're a part of it, but we're not fully part of it. Like, if I made a video game and it was very popular, very successful, and even though I'm very focused on making video games, there's no way in hell I, the creator of that video game, would be like, yeah, you could do what you want, that's okay, and not have like a manned team who really knows the game, who really knows the lore, working with the creators and the script writers.
See, you say that,
you have
but that's
access to the game writers.
Yeah,
you say
right
that though,
there.
but that's before somebody dumps a bunch of money on you just to get the rights to the name anyway, right? Because look what's happening to the Spawn movie. Todd
I'm just not
McFarlane
easily
will
bought.
not relinquish any creative control, and it's taken him 20+ years to get a fucking movie just greenlit, not made, greenlit. Like, you got it. There's a lot of concessions, a lot of compromises, and a lot of bullshit that you got to do to get something on the screen. These studios, all they give a fuck about is the name. They know that you guys like the game. You'll go see it regardless. Other than that, doesn't matter. I don't buy it because I want your team. I buy it because I want to do what I want with it.
Pretty much.
So, Luke, I want you to start with rating it. A 4.
I'm giving it a 4. Okay. This is not a fucking -0 or a -1. This isn't a 5. This isn't a 10. I think a 4, around a 40%, is perfect. It is bad, but it's the kind of bad that I personally can have fun with.
Dreaded. How about you?
It took a long time to figure out what the fuck to rate this movie, But after I pulled up some clips of Lion King 2019, I realized, yep, I like this movie better than Lion King. So this is going to get a 4 as well. I was mad watching Lion King. I was just bored watching this most of the time.
You're probably gonna hate the new one too.
Oh!
Don't get him started. We're gonna be here for another half hour plus.
I opened it.
Close
We're
it.
not doing
Dreaded,
it.
I love
We're
you.
not
Close it.
doing it.
Close it. So
Yeah.
I opened it.
I'm
You
gonna.
get as many people as you want for that show. I will not be on it.
I'm also going to go ahead and give my next, since I am the last of the knows little to nothing, and then we'll let both of you do your ratings to wrap it up.
I can't
But
wait.
I personally am, as I've already said, like there's the pacing is a problem. The cast did decent enough with what they were given, but I don't think they were given enough direction, or they weren't given enough material to really work with, or enough time to develop their characters. Though I don't think every cast member was bad, I think a majority of them were not the right cast for this character. And all that being said, I mulled over a 5 for a while, but really I'm a 4. I'm right there with you guys.
Yeah, everybody in this thing is terribly miscast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody.
So the question is, Kitty or Dan? Who's next?
Hang on, real quick. Us three. Which one's gonna have the higher score? I'm going with Dan.
Oh, Dan's probably gonna have a higher score than Kitty for sure.
All right, yeah, you never know.
If
We
I
may
start
be
talking,
wrong.
I'm gonna start getting mad about Mufasa. Just rate it.
That was the best part of that show. I'm not gonna lie.
So with you guys like giving like debating who's going to have the higher rating, are you assuming that we are rating it based on what we think of it as a film or what we think of it as a Borderlands adaptation?
Oh, I think you're basing it off what you think as an adaptation.
I'm basing it just off of what I think you, Dan, knowing you the way I know you, what I think you would rate it. Not because of it being an adaptation or this film or off of this
You have
video
a
game.
more forgiving posture than KP does. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Damn. Well, fine. I'm just gonna see myself out of here with Bud Stallion. You take my
So
tiny Tina with me too.
so I figure it's probably best to leave Kitty's answer for last because she's probably going to
I'm going to
be the
talk
one
to
that's,
my
like, most
tiny
expected.
Tina DM.
Yeah, just dropping that too, for sure.
But you guys are pretty much all in consensus that Kitty's probably going to rate it lower than I will, I'm assuming?
Mhm.
That's where I think, yeah.
It's consensus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a film, I would rate it probably a 3, just off of like not being in the film industry, not having much experience with that, and being like overly analytical of the script writing for it,
Mm-hmm.
for the amount of time that they had.
Yeah, 15 years. Jesus Christ.
Well, 10 years.
Oh, 10 years.
2015 was when they
2015,
announced
right.
it. But as a Borderlands adaptation, I would have to give it a 1. And that's like, yeah, there were some like really nice things that they did, but there was like so much more that like they either changed that it didn't really blend all that well, or things that just didn't really feel like it fit within the Borderlands universe. So 3 as a film, 1 as Borderlands adaptation.
Okay. So, Kitty.
All right, so I'm gonna also do film versus adaptation, so that we have a good weigh-in, and I'm not just going one score. So as a film, I felt like, there was some good parts, there was some bad parts. Like the cast is just not right, which is fine. As the lead parts, minus Krieg, I felt Krieg was pretty good. But the side cast, like the supporting actors that you have in there, I didn't feel like they were that bad. Marcus was definitely a win for me. Moxie, I just wanted more, in that sense. I still love the fact that Marcus, as soon as Lilith got in the van, she's like, I'm not a Vault Hunter. And he's like, okay. And then she sits in the back, and then his video comes on, and I was like, that's so Marcus. Like in the most randomest way. I'm like, that is so Marcus. And I loved it. But I can see how people who have no knowledge of this would find this entertaining. So I also give it a 3. From an adaptation standpoint, it's just so not anything that's even remotely possible to be, in my sense, close to some of the stuff that we know, like as a whole. I mean, get it. I know what an adaptation is, and I understand that it's not, like, I get that. It's an adaptation, and it's supposed to be like, things change, and I'm like, cool, things change. But the fact that we're missing elements that make these characters their characters is confusing to me, and I don't compute, and it doesn't connect, and so therefore I give it a 1. Which is actually what I rated it on IMDb. I literally went in and was like, 1 star.
Well,
Well,
very
that's
nice.
kind of a bit of a twist.
Yeah, right on the
But
money
if
with
you
each
add
other.
if you add those together, what do you get?
No, you can't add them together. No, you can't add them together. That's cheating.
She loved it. Just add them together. 4. All right, there you go. We're good.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if I was like, actually, I give it a 10? You guys would have been like, what is
What?
wrong with you?
10 out
We
of
did
10.
all that
Watch
arguing
it
for
again.
nothing.
Just go and watch it while you're on drugs. No.
I don't disagree.
It might be more like the games then.
It's gonna be a lot more enjoyable, I promise you.
And I did talk to Tiny Tina. That's what she said. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, with that, everybody, those are our scores, and that's gonna actually wrap up our movie review of Borderlands. So
Fuck that Mufasa movie! I'm sorry, I can't hold it anymore
And
longer.
it hasn't even come out yet. Relax.
Scar!
Oh, if you were on the last show, you would have known how angry I am.
Scar!
I'm seeing it
So-
now. What do I need to be on the show last week for? I'm seeing it right now.
Because it was hilarious and you missed all the fun. I'm not kidding. It was so funny. It was
yeah.
so funny.
Can't wait for next week.
while Dan is there trying not to die, everybody, we are the Wannabes podcast. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to Ranger Kane, Ophi, Shy Bears, Lee Angel, Torres, everybody else who's given us follows these last 24 hours. You guys are fantastic, and we absolutely love you. I'm Morgan, that is Luke, and that is Dreaded. We are the hosts of the Wannabes podcast, and we want to give a extreme special thank you so much to you, FrenchKittie, and to you, ShirtlessDan, for joining us. We love having guests. It always makes the show that much more exciting and
Yo,
entertaining.
shout out to chat too for hanging out with us for 2.5
Yeah,
hours.
y'all have
Let's
been
go.
amazing.
Fucking give yourselves a round of applause for hanging out the whole
They were
time.
so active. Like,
Yes,
that
they
was
were.
Very.
so great. They were
Yeah.
so active. Every time I would say something, I'd see something pop up over here.
Bring that energy every week.
So real
Fuck.
quick before we wrap up, Kitty, I've had, I've been shouting you out. I've had some stuff on, socials on your graphic and everything. But please, can you let everybody know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you?
Yeah, so I'm FrenchKittie. I'm a variety streamer that you can find on Twitch. I'm at twitch.tv/FrenchKittie. I play everything from, as you know, Borderlands to Diablo, and have been running a D&D campaign that is slowly in the works. You will see Morgan and you will see Dan. I know they're not below me. They're actually somewhere over there. But they'll be in my campaign on Tuesday, so if you want to check it out and watch the chaos reign, be sure to tune in for that. I'm also the co-host with Morgan on Techeries. We'll be bringing that back. I know
Yes,
Morgan's
we
like,
will.
oh God, why is she saying it now?
with video game reviews from me.
With video game reviews, we do technology. We're gonna add some new things to it. We're gonna give you guys some added twists and turns that you guys haven't seen before, hopefully, and we'll see how that plays out. So get ready for the sexy grandma.
Woo!
I'm excited.
And where can everybody find you?
Well, predominantly I'm on twitch.tv/ShirtlessDan. I stream Mondays and Fridays. Lately I've been going through Mass Effect, which kind of jumping back to the topic a little bit earlier of like, what thing would you like to see adapted? I could see a Mass Effect movie being pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Not in Ramadan.
Like
Not in
could
Ramadan.
adapt. No, I'm just talking like the first one. Like Mass Effect 1 could really flow pretty well, I feel.
Do you want the
Like,
terrible,
enough
like,
characters?
can't find anything too in the game? Do you want that also? Just out of curiosity and the terrible car driving. Just wondering.
I mean, you
Yes.
don't necessarily have to do all of the stuff with the Mako and everything. I mean, you could just,
Or you can't find your way through to Citadel. You want that too?
well, I mean, you could very easily get
If
lost
I
in that fast food
suffered,
shit.
they should suffer.
But yeah, so Mondays I do Mass Effect until I get through the entire series. Fridays, me and Kitty are going through Borderlands. We just actually finished Borderlands 2 just this past Friday, so we're jumping into DLC this coming Friday.
Very nice. Very nice.
And Dan gets to choose, so it's going to be a crapshoot.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
All right. Well, thank you again,
Right.
both of you, for joining. We absolutely love that you're able to join us tonight. And this has been a wonderful, fun, and chaotic review, as we absolutely love it. Everybody, once again, we are the Wannabes Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching up Podcast Wanna or the Wannabes Podcast. We show up under either. Thank you again, as always, for your support. You guys are
It's called
amazing.
X, by the way.
You know what? I'll get there eventually. I'm just now finally updating our logos for our Twitter, okay, to being X logos. So it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, that being said, thank you again, everybody. You are all
Hold up,
fantastic.
Kiki, come on, X,
We
hold up,
absolutely love you.
Hold up.
I'm
Dan?
about to X this
there you-
man. This man's gonna get X'd out of my life if he keeps it up.
The fact I made it this long, I have no idea.
Kitty, you want to be the new co-host? I guess. Just kidding.
So, everybody, make sure you tune in next week. We will be live on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will be reviewing the movie Alien Romulus. I cannot wait. If you can see it back there, I already have my facehugger bucket. But yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be an interesting review. But for all intents and purposes, it is time to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful night, everybody. And next time, don't forget the popcorn, all right? Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Fuck them.